What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Spawncast Live. It is episode 70, right, Evan?
Absolutely.
Joined by Evan, of course. You see him right there. As usual, one of the co-hosts here, along, I guess, with Max. Max, you and Sean, I guess, would be like the number two, right?
Yeah,
I wear a hat secretly that says Spawncast at night.
Yes. And then we got, as you see there, we have Max, of course, Dreamcastguy. How's it going, Max? How are we doing tonight?
Good. Playing a bunch of Call of Duty and not really liking it too much. We'll get to that.
We'll be talking about that because I have some thoughts on that too. I have a video that I have to put out eventually about it, but I have some thoughts about that Call of Duty. And we have Sean, of course, popped his Diet Dr. Pepper before we even went on, and I'm sure he's planning to eat quite a bit.
I don't know. I actually I had dinner kind of late, so I don't know. I'll probably have some waffles or something.
There's always room for chips, man.
I don't think I have any chips. I need to go grocery shopping again, and I hate grocery shopping because I hate spending money. So yeah, I ain't been in a minute.
And we have, of course, OJ, who's pretty much going to be with us from now on every week. OJ, what's up, man?
Hey, it's doing good. Glad to be here, man. Having some fun. And did you guys say that you don't like Call of Duty much? Did you say that you're not liking it? Did somebody say that?
I put 14 hours into it, and I'm not hardcore digging it.
That guarantees this game is going to sell like 50 million copies. So there we go. That's perfect. That's exactly what they're thinking. Perfect. You don't like it? Good.
I know. I played a lot of it. Max played a lot, and I think Rob played some last night. So we have a couple people have played it now.
Setting up for the best Call of Duty ever. Watch. Best Call of Duty sales ever. You guys will see. Greatest launch ever.
It's gonna bomb. I'm still betting on that horse.
We have
that's not happening.
Two guests with us tonight. We have Rob from Ruleof2Review. What's up, Rob?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back on. It's been a minute, but I'm stoked to be back. So
cool. And then we have KOFI from the Press Start podcast. That's correct, right? Press Start podcast.
Yeah.
That's on. Is that on Thursday nights?
Yeah, Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time zone. And we had you on the episode too.
Yes,
and
I was on there. And Max was on there as well. Yep, Dreamcast guy. Another podcast to go listen to, talk about all things gaming, right? All different sectors of gaming and everything. Yeah. So they have a lot of fun over there. So let's.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we'll have some fun tonight. Let's. I guess let's get in what we've been playing, guys. What's everyone been playing this week?
Playing a lot of stuff. Dead Cells.
I watched you die a lot in Dead Cells, yeah.
Man, that game is hard as hell. It's fun though. It's like it's weird because usually games like that I get like super frustrated and I'm like, I'm not playing this shit anymore. But it's like with that, it was just kind of like, all right, well, let's get a little bit further. Let's see what I can figure out this time. Code of Princess EX is dope as hell. Do not sleep on that game. I didn't realize in like the marketing and shit that they were doing for it that they were kind of hyping it as like the spiritual successor to Guardian Heroes. So I thought I was just like a genius when I was like, yo, I'm going to put Guardian Heroes in the title of that. And I'm going to say
on the back of the box.
Shut the fuck up. Yes. I had a digital copy. I didn't know. So like, I was like, yo, and like people were like, yeah, that's what they were talking about in the game. I was like, oh,
yeah, I was looking at the back of my box and I was like, does Sean think he's clever? It says Guardian Heroes right on
I thought I was clever as hell. But yeah, like that game is super good. I was very impressed with it. Been playing some Okami HD, which I can't really talk about on the Switch.
That's Capcom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I haven't got a copy yet. Next.
And
is it like Okami the other ones?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the other ones?
The other ones are fantastic, and I absolutely love them.
The PS3 version or the PS4 version?
The PS4 version is great.
Or the Wii version?
It has HD graphics, so we couldn't do that.
Oh, Sean, I do want to, before you move on from Code of Princess, I do want to say the physical copy is actually decent. It actually comes with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I've been thinking about maybe double dipping and picking it up.
It's
comes weird.
With a manual.
Nicolas used to send me physical stuff, but now they just send me digital codes.
It's messed up.
Yeah, right. And then that's pretty much just I've been playing. I bought a box copy of Ocarina of Time for some reason. I don't know.
Where'd you get that from? I saw it on Twitter. I was like,
I got it on eBay actually. Like I had been looking at this one and it was like $105. I was like, I'm not spending over $100 on this. And then like the dude relisted it and put it on sale for 90, and I had some eBay bucks and I was like, oh fuck it. So I just ended up buying it. But then I hadn't even played it. I ended up playing the 3DS version where I was stuck in the Shadow Temple. So I've been playing that, and now I'm at Ganondorf. So
we did get a new member on the channel, Switch to PC, and I think Evan actually has some emotes there as well, right, Evan?
Yeah, they're still there.
Like doing all kinds of stuff. So thanks, Switch to PC. Welcome, and have fun with the emotes and everything. It's good to have you. Thank you. I think OJ knows Switch to PC.
Big shout outs to Mark, man. He was one of the big supporters when I kind of relaunched everything a couple years ago when I went full time on YouTube. He really helped me get up and going, helping my channel. So shout outs, Mark. Thank you so much for helping John out and just being an awesome dude. He's make sure you guys check out his channel. Seriously, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, check out his channel. And then Grand Noodle Light with a $2 super chat just saying burp. I think that's Sean, right? And that's probably towards Sean.
probably.
$2 belch.
Have y'all been?
What do you think about Dead Cells, though, Sean? How much? Sorry, Max. I just want to get his final takes. I think Sean just went through everything he's played, probably, unless he played other stuff.
1979, The Revolution, Black Friday, which is it's actually not a bad game. It's like a Telltale game in the style of gameplay, and it tells like a historical story of like a political uprising in Iran in 1979. So I have no idea like how accurate the source material is because it's nothing I know about, but it's not bad. I'll probably throw up something on it. But yeah, Dead Cells is awesome. The only little minor gripe I had was like sometimes did you notice like the camera would sort of get stuck?
It has these weird like frame skips. It's very odd. Like it'll just kind of stop for a second and then start going again. It's very weird how it does that. And if you have a lot of people on screen, enemies, it will have some slowdown that I noticed.
Yeah. But yeah, besides that, like it's super fun. It's definitely I love the Metroidvania style. I love how it's randomly generated, areas and stuff like that as far as, exploration is concerned. Tough as hell, but I could see how it gets easier as you upgrade your character. It has been getting easier for me, but yeah, it's just a hard ass game. I mean, you're going to die a lot. So if you're easily frustrated, you might want to skip it. But if you like Metroidvania style games, with a retro aesthetic, it's pretty legit.
Yeah. Controls are good on it too. It feels good. Like,
yeah. Very smooth. Very smooth.
Yeah. Cool.
I was playing it too as well. Dead Cells. I put up a let's play of it video. I just don't like the whole rogue. I'm not a big fan of the whole rogue stuff, man. Where you start all over. I know you keep your stuff, but that's just I'm not sure if I'll ever like that type of game design where you start all the way back and then have to. And then I don't mind procedurally generated stuff, but like where you have to start all over again and then you keep some stuff, but you start at the level where I'm just not a fan of that style. I love the type of games like Wizard of Legend is the same type of thing, Like, I love like the gameplays in these games are always really good, but the whole starting all over again thing is just like the runs and stuff just is not my cup of tea. But I love the game though; it's good.
That's kind of the trick with it because the starting map that you're in gives you multiple paths you can take in order to sort of get ahead of certain areas eventually. So you do kind of get around.
Yeah, I saw your video, OJ. You remember that green stuff on the ground that you were touching and you couldn't figure out what it did.
I was tickling it, to be honest.
Eventually turns in. You can actually get something that actually turns that into a vine and it gets you to the next part pretty quick.
Yeah, and because there was a character that I was trying to kill, and before I made my video, I was just like laying in bed playing this game. I was like, I'm not making my fucking video until I kill this son of a bitch. And so when I killed him and I got that ability, I was like, oh yeah, good thing I waited. And then when I did my playthrough, I ended up going to the toxic area, and I was like, I've never even been here. So,
I'll try it out again. Then I'll try it out again, and I'll see if I can tickle it till it grows.
No, as you get further, you get the power.
Okay.
I think
that has to be on the box of the game, man. Tickle it till it grows.
I'm just saying, I don't know.
There's like an elite you run into that's basically the first boss that you run through, and then there's another boss on the bridge later on that's kind of tough.
There's a lot of bosses, and then there's even a level that activates almost like a ton of bosses all at once. It's crazy.
Let me welcome Milo Creek, another new member. Thanks for joining in. Got emotes and everything, so enjoy those.
Shout outs to Milo, by the way. He's awesome, man.
Okay, cool. And let me jump over to one of our guests here. KOFI, what you been up to this week, man? What you been playing?
I've been playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z like crazy. I'm really trying to get good in that game. I'm definitely going to be picking it up on Switch. I'm going to be double dipping on that game so I can actually play it at work and practice because I definitely need it. But it's coming along. You know, I actually recently just picked up like a fight stick, so my game is actually really.
Oh, nice. Have you used the fight stick before in the past, or is this like your first shot at using the fight stick?
I've used a fight stick at like an arcade before when I was like a child, but you know, back in the day, and I'm a young guy, I'm 25, right? So I'm just like mashing buttons. So I'm actually really learning like the nuances and how to hold it properly and all these little techniques in using the fight stick. So I'm really enjoying it. It's a fantastic game. I've also been playing Octopath Traveler. I'm about 25 hours into the game. I'm loving the game. Great turn-based RPG. I also purchased Yakuza 0 on PC, started that.
Yeah.
Hour and a half. I'm going to be playing through that game too. The game looks beautiful on PC, runs beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. I think that's actually a pretty easy game to run too. Like I was hearing that it was actually optimized fairly well.
Yeah, I got a 1080 Ti and I'm absolutely destroying the game out on my 1440p monitor maxed out. I'm getting like 90 frames plus certain areas over.
Nice. Yeah, apparently there's a mistake listing for Yakuza 6, so you might be able to play that. Because I saw on the PS4 it does kind of struggle on the PS4. From what I was seeing, so that might be a good one to pick up there too. Fight stick though, man, we had we used to run tournaments back in the day. Evan remembers this at the store, and people would come in with some of the they would get like their there was somebody who actually I guess did like custom work for people. They would airbrush onto the fight sticks and stuff.
Yeah, because we had a pretty good segment of the Shoryuken forums, like those guys lived in our area, and they kept doing fight tournaments almost every weekend. So they had 2 people, I think they said, customize those things heavily, which was awesome.
There were some really cool designs. But yeah, like that was really neat they were really into that kind of stuff. And I've used a fight stick, and we did it with Mortal Kombat, I think, right, Evan? When that first came out, Mortal Kombat, the one on the 360, when they rebooted the whole thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think Jesse bought that. It was like this massive fight stick, and it was I'm not good with a fight stick. I don't know. That's just me. But everybody, you go to a tournament, and people like look at you weird if you bring like a controller with you now. So.
To be honest, I think it really depends. There's some, I mean, most people do use the fight sticks, but there's also a lot of guys that are starting to use like regular controller too. You know, I mean, there's like, I don't know, like Liquid Knuckle, or he's not Liquid Knuckle Dude, but Knuckle Dude's a really good Street Fighter player. He just rolls up there with a controller, and all these guys have their Street Fighter V fight pads, and then you just see Knuckle Dude, who's one of the best. He actually won like the Capcom Cup a few years ago, and like he's just using his PS4 controller.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, I'm pretty monstrous at like, especially like Fighter Z, and I'm way better with the controller. I've actually played it on arcade stick, and I'm definitely a lot better. Every fighting game better with the controller.
I would roll in with that Tupperware fight stick. The one we made, Evan.
I still got to build my version, even though I have the mix box now. I still kind of want a fight stick on the side anyway.
I'm rolling in with a poke-in tournament concontroller to everything. I don't care if I support it or not. Poke-in tournament controller for everything, baby.
Oh man. Geez. What about Rob? What you been up to, man?
Well, I'm definitely jealous of you guys playing Dead Cells. I'm super curious about that game. I'm kind of with you, OJ. Like the roguelike aspect kind of freaks me out. I don't really know if I would dig that, but just the gameplay being so Metroid-like and retro, I'm super excited to pick that game up, which I think is in like another 1 or 2 weeks or so. I think it's pretty soon.
Tuesday.
That's soon. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah,
that
really quick.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped to check it out. I'll probably get my ass kicked, but that's cool. Other than that, I've been pretty busy like with work and music and stuff. So I've only been focused on 2 games. One of them, like a month ago, I just got so hooked on Fallout 4 again. I know it's not like a new exciting game, but man, you just crave that world if you haven't been there for a while. And I was just like, I want to get lost in this stupid wasteland. And I turned it on like a month ago, and I have not been able to stop playing it. I just love that game.
Dude, I was playing it just the other day, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on my Xbox One X. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got that X and you want to try it out now, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Is it in 4K?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's nice and shiny.
Getting 4 frames now with the X.
Yeah,
All them frames. It's actually
7.5 frames.
It's funny you say that because I probably hadn't played it in a year, and I was like really nervous to turn on a game that epic that I probably put like 100 hours into. And start playing it again. But I was like, actually, this game like looks better and seems way less buggy than it was 365 days ago. So it seems like they're always trying to do something to it, which is pretty cool for like a 3 or 4 year old game. And then honestly, the only other thing is Octopath, man. Like I've just been like putting in so much time into that game. Everyone's been hooked on that game. And it's like not normally the kind of RPG that I would love, but it's so damn good. I'm kind of going through like a tiny bit of a honeymoon period, to be fair. Like the first 5 or 6 days, I just wanted to eat that game. I was like so in love with it, and like I couldn't even sleep. I was thinking about that game. And now I'm probably about 26 or so hours in. I've got 6 party members, and like the gameplay is still great, but I don't love like the random battle aspect. And I had people yelling at me on my video about that. I don't love the random battles, so I'm kind of still like adjusting to that. And I feel like the game, this is like a minor criticism because I really do freaking love this game, but I feel like it's kind of like teetering between wanting to be like a big open world explorative kind of game, you know, and also like pretty linear and streamlined. And I kind of wish it wasn't straddling that line so much and it kind of committed more one way or another. But it just kind of doesn't matter because I just love the game and I love the battle system, and I'm not normally a turn-based guy, and the visuals are so cool. So that's pretty much it, man.
Well, here's the good news. Sounds like that team's going to get another shot at making another game. So
yeah, right.
I hope so. It's a Bravely Default team, right? That's the same.
It's
guys,
a blend.
right?
It's a bunch of guys.
It's a blend. It's some people that have worked on that.
They're obviously very open to criticism and taking, I guess, suggestions from the crowd. So I bet you they're going to be browsing forums and all kinds of stuff looking to see what people have to say.
That's good, but is there that many other criticisms about the game? It seems like pretty much everyone is like, praise be Octopath. Like,
there are some.
My problem, which I couldn't get into my review, is I don't like the fact that it's one of those games with a super secret ending, which I won't even get into, but it's very much like I put 105 hours into that game, and I was like 95 hours into it before I discovered like, oh, I'm supposed to talk to this one guy in a random town 3 times to get the final quest. Like,
of course. How did you not know that?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. I'm so dumb. I should have just known that.
How dare you?
Well, I'm hoping they get a shot with like a bigger budget and everything too, more team members and everything, and really just build on that kind of game because sold 1 million copies or shipped 1 million copies, I should say.
It should. It's really good, man. It's so good.
Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty good. What about Evan over here?
Well, I mean, you've had me looking back into Warframe, so that's triggered that addiction. I've been hitting that pretty hard.
I see you get on there all the time on Steam. It's like Evan came online. Evan's on Warframe now.
Yeah, because I watched the trailer for what's coming up, and that's kind of got me hooked to try to catch up and then be ready for that. But I did get to put in a little bit of time with We Happy Few, which we can't really talk about here. And I've also, what else was I actually? Oh, and I picked up No Man's Sky after the patch dropped because I did want to check it out a bit, and it's all right so far. But it's one of those things where I don't want to put in that much time yet.
Yeah, at one point Walmart had that game for $10 recently, so you can find it very cheap right now on the PS4 if you kind of look around. Yeah, that you're still kind of looking at it, Evan. But if you guys have you guys kind of looked at Warframe because it was announced for the Switch and everything, and you're looking at it, Evan is actually putting together a video for beginners, right, Evan?
Yeah, I'm trying. I did a massive recording earlier today, but I went back through it, didn't like half of it, so now I'm going to try to re-record it probably tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so Evan's trying to set it up for anyone who's never played Warframe to show you what to kind of do in the beginnings to get
I've been hearing since that was announced for the Switch, and I've been looking into it. Everyone is talking about this crazy steep learning curve, and like I guess the grinding curve is like 20 hours of grinding before it feels like a good game. That's what people have said, like on some of my the comments on my video and stuff. I was like, that's pretty kidding, man.
It's pretty crazy. The problem is the way the game existed so far was it started very tiny. They had very little in it, and anyone who started playing it back then, which there was already a very big community, basically got it all, and then they added more, and that extra bit they added was so close to where we already were that we just moved to it, and that happened for 5 years.
That sounds like World of Warcraft syndrome, where it starts off small and they kept adding on, and now there's entire dead zones, like hundreds of dead zones that nobody ever even bothers visiting.
Well, that's the thing, because the way it randomly generates missions, you're always visiting everything. You're all doing stuff together because it does kind of make you go those places. But yeah, there's aspects to it I do want to get into, especially before at least the Fortuna update, if not the release on Switch, because Fortuna is going to be pretty huge.
None of the versions of it have cross progression currently, so I guess everybody's going to be starting from ground level on the Switch, right?
There's no crossplay, but with all the consoles for at least the first month or so, there's the ability to copy your PC account to your console.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
it. So I can bring over my account, which might not be that fun if we all play together, since I just have suits where I'll walk into a room, press 3, and then we can just move on. Like,
I want to grab Match's super chat before it disappears, saying, how can we preserve games in the future when developers are moving to an all-digital future? Spyro 2 or 3 example will be unplayable and the server shut down. Matches, I got you. We're actually going to be talking. Spyro is a discussion, because that was one of the biggest questions we got even on our Discord and everything was Spyro, because of what's going on. And Activision never got back to me, strangely. So I can't tell you what their comment was, but we'll be talking about that, Matches. But thank you. We got you. So, but you'll be able to kind of give people an idea of what to do to get started, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to collect my thoughts on it, because it is early game and I don't really know how it feels now. I've had to talk to a few of my friends who've restarted their accounts just to check some stuff.
Okay.
But I think I have a good understanding on what you're going to at least want to get into 100% before looking into everything else.
And we'll have footage for the Switch version and everything as well, because I'm sure we'll be all checking it out and everything also, because it's going to be free anyway. So
yeah,
I'm sure everyone, honestly, because Fortnite was free and 2 million people downloaded that in the first day, I'm sure a lot of people will download Warframe just out of curiosity alone. But it is available on PS4, Xbox One, PC all right now. So you can also check it out there. I guess that's everybody. Let's
except for Max. Okay, you know.
Max, I thought I asked you about stuff, didn't I?
Nope. You purposely said let RGT.
Oh, right. Because I knew you were going to talk about Call of Duty. That's why.
No, we're good. It's just Call of Duty.
Because we were going to, because I was going to transition to Call of Duty from this, and I figure if you talk about it last, you'd be able to go into the Call of Duty topic. But go on, Max. What is that the big thing you've been playing is Call of Duty?
No, lots of Overcooked 2, actually. Lots of Overcooked 2.
I have been playing Overcooked 2 as well.
I didn't get a code. Thanks, Keymailer.
I emailed them directly for it, but man, it's you have to have somebody to play it with for sure, though. Like, luckily, it has online co-op and couch co-op.
So they sent me a list of levels I'm allowed to show.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just going to do a full review on Tuesday. I'm not even going to bother trying to because it's so specific. But I've beaten everything now except for the last Kevin levels, which are like the challenge levels.
Yeah, like challenge levels. You actually kind of drive around with a little van and unlock them. But it is really annoying to play it by yourself. I'm just going to put that out there.
I couldn't even bother trying, since the fact you actually have to switch between two people. I just didn't even bother. I was like, I'm just going to review it. So my friend who's crazy good at Overcooked just came over and we played a bunch of it. It's hilarious. I love the biggest new change is I'm glad you can throw stuff now.
That was funny.
The new recipes are really hard, so it really helps to be able to just literally throw stuff like a freaking football across the map now.
Yeah, it's fun though. Like I said, I think they gave a list of 8 or 9 levels we can show before then. I was thinking about doing video, but every time I try to record, my entire kitchen lights on fire. So I like in the game, because it's so hard to play by yourself. Because whenever you're controlling it, that means your other character is either chopping something or finishing and not doing anything. So it's
and the new recipes all have so many multiple steps, the food processors, where you actually have to get flour, chop up meat, put it in the food processor.
You're steaming stuff, you're processing stuff.
Yeah,
you're all over the place.
Stuff catches on fire a lot more. But I think the new combo system, if you actually keep churning, if you keep getting correct orders in a row, it builds up combos and stuff. They definitely improved every aspect of the first. I liked Overcooked 1 a lot, and Overcooked 2 is so much better. I'm never going to play Overcooked 1 again, but I'm going to do a review on it Tuesday.
Yeah, it's that'll be fun. That'll be cool. What were you playing? Were you playing on the PS4, Switch? What were you playing
Switch. Yeah, I actually asked for a PS4 code just because I have more controllers for PS4. I only have 3 Switch controllers, and I have 6 PS4 controllers. But they said no, we want everybody to play it on Switch. So I was like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna be honest. Team 17, I completely forgot about the game, but you emailed me about it, so thanks. That was a weird situation. They emailed me and was like, "You want to play Overcooked 2?" I was like, "Oh, I forgot about that game."
Guess my email got lost in the mail.
It wasn't. Well, no, I didn't even email them. They found my email. It's on Twitter. And they emailed me. But,
mine's on Twitter.
Well, Sean, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you.
Up your game.
They look, Capcom. Capcom loves you. Okay,
that's true.
They don't. Capcom doesn't talk to me.
Dude, Capcom. I have to ask for stuff, but anything I ask about Capcom, it just appears.
Capcom knows by now. Although I go after Activision a lot, and Activision likes me strangely. Yeah, let's Call of Duty, Max.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. All right, you played Call of Duty. Rob played Call of Duty. Anyone else play Call of Duty?
Hell no.
Nope.
I was clipping my toenails instead. I felt a better option than playing Call of Duty for me at least.
Man, some Call of Duty hating here, man. Jeez.
Hey man,
Seen some gameplay. It pretty much looks like all the Call of Duties.
It does.
Tinder dates don't slow down, man. I mean, come on, you boys got to have some clean.
Well, I did watch some gameplay, and the gameplay did seem a little slower. So I don't know if Dreamcast can confirm that.
It's faster. If anything, it's too fast. Time to kill is faster, and movement is way faster.
I found time to kill slower because everyone has 100.
I did at first too. Yeah, I'm with
no,
you.
The thing is, everybody figured out to wear the bulletproof vests. Once everybody figured out that, now everybody's wearing.
Yeah, that's what I did
vests.
too. I was like, yeah, forget this epinephrine pen or whatever. I'm gonna use it.
It's good when the meta is just do this and use nothing else. That's always good.
Well, here's something else I figured out. It's just me or the sniper rifle is very strong in that game.
Sniper rifles are super bad. Have you seen? So there's a glitch right now where if you slide and then jump and start sprinting again, it's about 5% faster than just running. So people are like slide dashing.
I see that everywhere.
There's already a jump kill thing that showed up in this jump kill thing that showed up in Call of Duty. I don't know when it did. Do you guys see this? Where people like pop around a corner in midair, they jump and shoot, and you're dead.
Well, so
I don't know where that came from.
There's a video, dude. There's this big Call of Duty YouTuber, and he killed like 16 people in a row. He literally just goes into a spawn area and just keeps slide hopping and shooting people in the head. Like
I was gonna do something really. What I was gonna do in my video, because I was gonna do a whole video on Black Ops 4, and I have it like all written down and everything. I was gonna shift to Black Ops 3 footage midway without saying anything to see if anyone notices.
The UI is very different, so I have to zoom in it a little bit. And that's the main thing that's pissing off a lot of the Call of Duty community is, did you notice they gave it the Destiny reticle marker?
Yes, so I noticed that.
Super light and thin, and like only when you're looking down your scope can you actually tell where it's going on. So I basically aim down sights for everything now.
As soon as you unlock the sniper rifle, don't use any other gun. Just use the sniper rifle because it has the snap 2 targeting. And
I've been with the sniper rifle by that.
Anything above the waist is one shot kill with a sniper rifle.
Sounds like a great fucking game.
That's it. Dude, I was playing and somebody took out 4 people for the last kill cam at the end. And I was like, what is happening?
The game is bad. Like, obviously, I didn't care for it. I made a video about it. But my thing is, at least they did their beta early. I'm so happy anytime a company does like an early demo, like Octopath did, and takes feedback, or does a real early beta so they can actually change stuff. Like, the Fallout community is still on fire, freaking out about the fact that they're going to be doing the beta for Fallout 76 3 weeks before it comes out. It's like, oh, you guys don't want feedback. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, here's my concern. Is this game going to be worth it without a campaign?
No.
That's my concern. Like, I haven't
played the beta. I question it.
Yeah, we haven't played Blackout yet, though. Their battle royale thing that apparently is like the big thing. They gave us like 4 modes
too. That's like the replacement for their campaign too, because from the live stream thing, I remember they said there's like a narrative woven into that. The Blackout mode, I think, is what they were pushing. So it's like there's no campaign, but there's also a story in the Blackout, which is the battle royale thing. So they're trying to kind of mesh the best of both worlds. I think.
What's the co-op thing too? There's like a co-op thing that you can play.
That's zombies.
Zombies.
Oh yeah,
that has like a story in it too.
Yeah, zombies. I think all the games zombie has a story.
Yeah.
They always have like cutscenes and each of the characters actually has their own thing, and there's all the secrets. Yeah, exactly. This one, they're just finally laying it on with more movies instead of just doing like one movie and then all like, what do they call it? Environmental storytelling. This one, yeah, exactly. Each one's gonna be like a different time travel mission.
Yeah, I'll say like I'm not as down on it like as Max is. I do think there's problems with the setup and the navigation and like the glitching and all that stuff. I will say I have one pretty big positive about this game, though. As somebody who kind of likes Call of Duty, I freely admit I dig a good Call of Duty. But like I do like the way this game feels. Like the handling of the game feels pretty good. I think it feels also really different from Black Ops 3. And I like Black Ops 3. So I'm appreciating that the handling has a tweak to it. And like kind of like John was saying, when I first started, it felt like that time to kill was really slow. Mm-hmm. And then after probably the first 40 minutes, like 6 or 7 deathmatch and whatever that capturing mode, I tried that a little bit. All of a sudden, it went to what you said, Max, where it's like, bam, you turn a corner and you're dead. 8 shots in your face. You don't know how it happened. So
Yeah.
that part is really frustrating.
Well,
but the handling feels good. I like the way it feels.
My favorite thing, and I heaped praise on it in my video, and if it's this good in the final game, I'm gonna be heaping praise on it. Is I think the new specialist system is really balanced. I think that it's really cool that basically you choose the weapons you want, and then separately you choose like your special abilities, and then you can even customize those. You can be a guy with a grapple hook, or a dude who can drop barbed wire that'll kill people.
The grapple hook was pretty cool.
Well, I love playing as the chick called Battery, who can throw
she has the grenades. Yeah,
she throws the explosive grenades that split into tinier grenades, and then her mega special is that grenade launcher that you can actually bounce off walls. And so since so many of those maps are tiny and have a bunch of corners, I just ricochet freaking grenades around corners. They got so many multi-kills.
It's a pretty cool change because like Black Ops 3 kind of started that. I remember where you picked a class, but it was like that was the class that your whole character was, and you'd have to start like a whole new character to kind of change the specials you had through them. And this one is like at the beginning of every match, choose from the ones you have based on how you've leveled up. And I do think that that's pretty cool. I don't think it feels as good as it did in Black Ops 3, but it is a cool change. And like you said, this beta is pretty early, so maybe they improve that by the time it comes out.
I feel like they have to improve a lot. Have you guys looked at the walls when you're running around? Dude, I thought the textures didn't load. No, I think I was looking at the textures on the wall. It was I know it's a beta, but man, the frame rate is weird. I have the PS4 Pro, and
that reminds me of another problem I have with this game is the maps, like the 2 or 3 maps that you can use are so damned claustrophobic. I don't know if you guys felt that.
I feel like it's because we're so fast in the game. Like,
it's the speed. So a 1,000,000% it's the speed. The maps are actually quite big, and they actually have a lot of twists and turns to hide in. But since everybody jogs at the speed of a NASCAR, it constantly makes it where you're just running in people's faces. Yeah. Well, especially the people who are really crazy good with shotguns are just like sliding around looking like Ninja Turtles on cocaine and then blasting you in the face constantly. So it's just like, even though the maps are massive, it feels way too small.
I look at this new Black Ops and I just see Black Ops 3, unfortunately. I mean, it's different, but is it different enough? I have to see this blackout mode. That's the thing I think it's going to decide it for.
Yeah, the modes will make the difference, I think, not the gameplay. So.
I mean, what we're seeing now is if you like Black Ops 3, you're gonna like Black Ops 4. I'm just gonna tell you that now because it's just Black Ops 3, just kind of just more of it. I'm looking forward at this point to the rumored Modern Warfare 4 at this point.
Yes,
that's what I'm looking forward to right now. And honestly, I think if I had to pick right now, I'd probably go with Battlefield. Right now, this year. That's just where I am right now. We'll see. You know,
and I'm always going to bring it up. We still have a wager. I think that Battlefield 5 is going to outsell Call of Duty this year.
Call of Duty Black Ops is gonna outsell it just because of the name itself. They could have put out like one map and like 8 guns in the game, and people still would have bought it.
I will give you credit. You definitely have a lot of facts backing you up because I've been going to the Call of Duty forums. I'm very interested in like the Call of Duty community and how they're receiving this, and everybody is saying Treyarch on the box equals my dollars. Like that's the thing everyone says. So it's like okay.
What's funny is it wasn't always like that back in the day. Infinity Ward was the company back in the day.
The Treyarch ones were the ones that people would sleep on.
People hated Treyarch. I worked at GameStop when Treyarch was terrible, and now everyone loves them. I think it's because that Black Ops really pushed them over. Just the first one, pushed them over the edge, and then the second one was ridiculous. I mean, is anyone in here buying Black Ops 4? Or are we all just like Activision's obviously sending me a copy of it, and I know they're sending Max one.
I'm 1,000,000% seriousness right now. From the 14 hours I played, I would not spend $20 on this. Like I would not pay full price. I was that just because it feels so much like every other COD. Like Battlefield 5 looks like it is going to at least play differently. So
you know what I would have liked to see them do, Max? You just mentioned $20. If they just split the 3 modes up and you just buy whatever you want.
I still 1,000,000% think that's the future of gaming, unfortunately, is I think they're going to start trying to sell stuff. And I think we could see a future Call of Duty where you buy the Battle Royale version if Battle Royale still exists in a few years.
I also want to remind everyone they're going to have in-game currency in this game, and it appears they're going to have a season pass in this game. So keep all of that in mind when you're I'm not trying to lose this bet, but I'm just saying keep that in mind when you go to the counter. Because they got away with murder last year and people don't realize it in Call of Duty WW2 with those loot boxes, and that's just because Battlefront 2 is doing it so much worse. So they're going to push it again this year. Just keep that in mind, and probably make a ton of money doing it. So we'll see. But yeah, so is anyone here buying? I don't know. Is anyone buying Black Ops 4 this year on the panel?
I mean, I'll say I'm undecided. I'll wait and see what this blackout thing turns out to be, and if there's another beta, and if it's not terrible, because like I said, I like the handling and the gameplay. So if it gets better than what it is, I might consider it. If it doesn't, then I won't. No.
Here's the thing. I will pick it up if it comes with a package with free like Tinder likes, like super likes. I am down. I will pick it up. Give me a package with like 15 to 20.
It's called Balls Deep Edition.
Dude, I'm so glad I missed this online. I would have been lost. I would have been lost, man.
It's mad easy.
You and Sean are pros.
Yeah, I married early and got out of the game, so we'll see. I still think it's gonna sell extremely well. I'm looking forward to Battlefield now just to see. Okay, so that was Battlefield. We have a bunch of things to actually get into here tonight. Let's start with the MPD results. Was anyone surprised at the MPDs? Because I think there are some people who were at least surprised with the game that came in number one. The system, maybe not as much when you remember that the NES Classic was released, although it was released on the 29th.
Yeah, it was released at the end of the month.
It did it in 2 days, but everyone was going to go buy that on the day it came out anyway, and it was going to sell out that day. But that also means that Nintendo had to have supplied at least 300 to 400,000 units in the US for that to happen. So they had a decent stock then.
I was surprised with both the fact that the NES Classic was number one and that Mario Tennis.
Yeah, that was digital sales either for Mario. That's very impressive. Yeah.
Mario Tennis is good too, so I get that. But and that happened pretty quick too, because Mario Tennis came out right before we went to Too Many Games. Sean, it came out on the 22nd.
Yeah, so like once again, I was very surprised with both of those.
Well, let me ask you guys this question: are you more surprised that Mario Tennis came in number one, or are you more surprised that State of Decay 2 fell all the way to number 20?
Come on.
No, that's a serious question. No, I mean, think about State of Decay 2, and then we have Mario instead taking the place number one. State of Decay 2 falls all the way to number 20. I was actually surprised to see that.
I was surprised that State of Decay 2 even sold.
Charted, right?
Yeah, who's buying that? Buy it on, get it on Game Pass.
Yeah, because of Game Pass, and that's the main reason why it's like a surprise to me personally. Like we've seen with Sea of Thieves, like that didn't stay high at all the next month when it rolled over because of things like Game Pass. Anyone who probably wanted to try the game probably tested it out, maybe dropped it. And I think that's the kind of situation that Microsoft's in right now because of the Game Pass and stuff like that. So
they don't. Yeah, they're more about engagement. They don't care as much about.
Yeah,
sales.
They don't care about the sales numbers, and they're all about Xbox Live users and stuff like that. So.
I mean, that's because they're doing more service-based stuff at this point. They want you. They want to basically own your setup in your entertainment center. They don't care what box you're using, so they don't care as much. But that's interesting that State of Decay fell so far. But yeah, like Sean said, I just use Game Pass honestly, unless it's the only game that I will buy just right now.
Halo.
It's Halo. I am getting that. I'm getting the special edition Halo Infinite. If it's a statue, I'm getting it. I don't care.
Dude, same with Gears. I'm so obsessed with Gears of War. When we get Gears 5, which we actually know is a fact now, is not going to be called Gears of War 5. The technical name is Gears 5. I'm definitely going to buy the normal edition and the Ultimate Edition.
I never got that into Gears of War. I like it. I didn't really get into the lore like I did with Halo, though.
I love Gears.
I played Gears a lot when I was younger, and I tried to play again on my Xbox One X, and it literally there's the download's like 200 gigabytes. I said screw it. Yeah. I literally said screw it. I'm not.
It's a huge download on PC as well. It's like 130.
That's insulting to me. So I just said that's insulting.
I like the lore a lot. I like the fact that, especially in the Gears of War books, let me just push up my nerd glasses here. They actually talk about like literally the geography. They talk about how the planet has different hours and stuff. I think it's cool. They definitely thought out this giant, goofy gorilla war game, basically, since everyone looks like giant gorillas with their huge arms. But it's fun.
Halo books are better.
But actually, buying the retail copy, like if you're a big fan, it's probably better than Game Pass because in the long run, you know, you play these kind of games for like years. Like even till this day, I still play Gears of War, and you know, instead of signing up for Game Pass and like just paying a monthly charge, it's probably better if you just own the game.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on the game because, like, Sea of Thieves is a game I never would have bought. State of Decay 2 is a game I never would have bought, but because of Game Pass, it allowed me to play it. Like, if it was a game or a franchise that I was actually interested in, you know, I would still, you know, consider buying it. But I don't know, it's just it's so much easier to do it that way.
We got let everyone know who's watching right now. Everyone who's on the panel right now, we'd have their links down in the description. You can check them out. Check out their channels and everything. We got KOFI from Press Start podcast. Press Start KOFI, I think, is your YouTube. Is that right? Press Start KOFI, or is that your?
Yeah, you can. I actually just changed it to KOFI, but if you search Press Start KOFI, you guys will probably see it anyways.
Yep. And then we got, of course, Rob from Ruleof2Review here. So talking to MPD numbers, we had Mario Tennis was 1, and then of course NES Classic. PS4 was number 2 technically, although out of the big 3, I guess it was technically number 1. But of course, go by revenue, it was number 1.
Yep.
And I believe it was Switch 2, and then Xbox was 3rd. So it was pretty much how it's been. I mean, it's been like that every month for, I think, the past like 3 or 4 months now, right?
Since January, I think.
Yeah, it seems basically like the PS4, which is weird because Microsoft is an American-made system. That should be number 1 in America. But it's been PS4 number 1 here, and then the Switch number 1 in Japan, and then the UK doesn't tell us anything about systems sold. And then Evan just saying, okay, we do have a hardware Discord. Okay, we have a question in the Discord that actually ties in with what we're talking about. Shoot, Evan.
A little bit. It's more about the hardware. From Rim N, what can Nintendo rely on for hardware sales numbers after all the big IPs released, after basically Pokemon 2018, 2019, Smash, Metroid 4?
Well, Metroid's next. I think Metroid's next holiday.
Yeah.
Metroid's next holiday.
Bayonetta. There's
another Pokemon game coming out next year.
If they all right, let's talk about that. What do they need to finish up their fiscal between January and March? I'll help them out with the question. Let's just kind of add that on, because that's a period we don't know anything about right now, and that is probably like going to be something they need to just get to finish line, because they have Pokemon, they have Smash, and then we assume they might have to make 3 to 4 million. Possibly in that last one hit their 20 million mark.
I think that those first 3 months of the year is a perfect place to drop something like a Bayonetta 3. Or if they do, I've been banking on this for so long, and I know I'm going to be wrong, but I'm sticking to it. I think Animal Crossing is this weird surprise thing.
That's a good one.
If they can drop a good early 2019 game in that last couple months, so I think those games can make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that'll be huge for Nintendo if they did drop Animal Crossing in January. That'd be really, really big.
I don't know. I was thinking like they're probably not going to do too much. Excuse me. If they can drop Fire Emblem before then,
I thought about Fire Emblem. Do you think they'd be able to get that out in March?
April? I think they confirmed that was April, didn't they?
They confirmed it was spring. There's no actual release.
You think they get that out right at the end of March, like in like the March 20?
Yeah, I mean, if they would, that'd be great. If we're going on past Fire Emblem games, they've released all through. I mean, there's been times it's like in Japan, it's like February. They've released in April. They've released in May. So I mean, like Shadows of Valentia was like May. So it's really a toss up when in that area. But they've released it from February all the way to May. That's usually when Fire Emblem comes out, somewhere between February and May. So
I mean, they could also have Yoshi be like their Kirby from this past year. Yoshi could kind of pop up like Kirby did. Kirby helped out. Yoshi could as well. And then like an Animal Crossing being dropped.
I think there's more hype for Yoshi than there was for Kirby.
Yeah,
so I feel like that's. I mean, the Yoshi.
It's Unreal Engine 4. So
yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and January, February, March, you know, it's kind of a quiet period in general for gaming. Like you see Sony take advantage of these months by releasing new IPs, usually in this, you know.
Well, this what's interesting is this January is gonna be a bit different because we have Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil 2 remake dropping within
those
a week.
Are some big hitters.
So
I feel like Nintendo's less popular games, they should drop them in the earlier months of the year. It'll probably be better for them so they can sell more.
I mean, Kirby sold like what, 2 mil?
2 mil, which is crazy impressive. I didn't expect that at all. It's crazy.
It was like 1.8 or something like that.
Yeah. Capcom's been experimenting clearly over the course of the last 4 years. They keep dropping really big stuff randomly in late January, early February. So I definitely think that we could see some big ports or big cool stuff definitely filling that gap from Nintendo or from third party.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be interesting. So yeah, we're thinking. I think Animal Crossing is like their big ace in the hole if they get that
That's
out.
what it's been my dark horse.
That could honestly, that could still show up in the fall for all we know right now. That could be a 2018 release for all we know right now.
Also, Dark Souls, man. I want my Dark Souls on the Switch.
Yeah.
Where's this game? I'm dying for this.
I'm disappointed as hell, man. That should have been out months ago.
Yeah,
at least it's not as bad as Dragon Quest. So that game was like the Nintendo Switch first game that was announced.
NX, man.
It doesn't have a release date. We don't know when it's coming out, and that's crazy. When the console was known as the NX, we knew about this game coming to it.
That was 2015.
I think the big difference is that people actually played Dark Souls on the Switch. You know, like people actually played it and it seemed fine. See, that's the big difference.
I haven't seen Dragon Quest at all.
And everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this is good." And
it's gonna be a Gamescom too.
Like the Western version, like the game. Like, have they even demoed the Western version, like for people to play?
Wait, it's gonna be a Gamescom.
Yeah, Dark Souls will. Yeah, that'll be playable.
Dark Souls probably. Yeah.
Dark Souls. They already said that. Yeah.
They got to keep doing that demo circuit as long as they possibly can.
The word is right now, from what I've heard, is October for Dark Souls.
God,
that's not summer. What happened to summer?
That's gone, dude.
That was the other version
in their email. It just says 2018 now.
Yeah.
My hype is dead.
I wonder what's wrong with it that they.
I think it's the network. I think it's the networking issues.
Yeah,
online. I think it's what they're working out. I think that's what they're working out. Yeah, this is my because from what they showed, Blighttown, which is like where it should have issues, didn't have issues in that footage. So I was like, okay, the network it launches in September. Maybe it's something around that. I don't know.
And I watched so much of it. I literally watched every scrap of Switch gameplay I could just because I was so interested in it. And then it all just kind of dried up. And it's kind of like, it looked so done. How is this not here?
Yeah, Chad Sarant, real quick, Rob, sorry, says everybody slept on Kirby, but as legs, maybe Yoshi will repeat. That's the interesting thing about Nintendo's games right now is they all continue to sell despite being out for months and months. I think this past fiscal, after I looked at the numbers, Breath of the Wild technically outsold Mario Odyssey in that same fiscal quarter.
Wow.
Yeah, so even older games continue to sell more. You like Odyssey more, don't you? I like Odyssey more too, actually.
Odyssey was my game of the year.
Yeah, you could go with that. Go with that. I mean, Zelda just it's just the 60 frames in that Mario, man. It's tough to get over that. That's actually good. So it's nice looking.
That's 2017, right?
Yeah.
So Persona 5 was my game of the year.
But the Persona 5 had dinosaurs in it. Mario.
Horizon.
I'm a big Super Mario fan. You know, I played all the ones 64. Still got the original cartridge mint in the box and stuff like that. So, you know, the thing about that game, like, if you're a fan of like the old school 3D Marios, then you really enjoy that game. I see mixed reviews from some people though, like they quite didn't enjoy it too much. Maybe because of the difficulty they find. Like
it was easy until you get to the end.
Yeah, so the darker side of the moon, you get a real challenge.
Oh, I forgot about that. DW64 reminded us about Damon Cross Machina.
Hey, yeah.
Forgot about that. That game's looking good. I think Zelda won Game of the Year pretty much everywhere last year. Right?
Pretty much everywhere. Yeah, I gave it Game of the Year.
Not on my channel, damn it.
I gave it to Horizon. I ended up having to make a video explaining why it wasn't Zelda because literally I was like, "This is my Game of the Year." It's like 7,000 comments that are, "What about Zelda? What about?"
How dare you?
That game got a bad rap because it didn't win any awards anywhere. Basically.
Yeah,
it's a good game too.
They're calling their Horizon Zero Awards on Twitter. I was mad.
It's a shame.
That game's been at the top of
a great game too.
I can't wait to get to it eventually.
Horizon's great, and the DLC is actually really great. It's one of those games where you can tell that they definitely really did it right. It's crazy good DLC.
Frozen Tundra or something, or
Frozen Wilds. Yeah.
That's why
new robot.
That's why they have Horizon Zero Dawn 2 coming out at the launch year of the PS5.
Yep.
Along with Halo Infinite launting the next Xbox, I'm calling it.
Halo Infinite's a cross-generation game, I'm pretty sure.
Or that, or like a Breath of the Wild thing.
It's their new. It's the new service-based Halo.
Yeah. Well, Microsoft wants everything forward and backwards compatible, so maybe your Xbox X2 games will work on your original.
That's why you're gonna get a nice little app to download, and all of a sudden your Xbox One is now the Xbox Scarlet, man. Cloud. That's how it works. Man. Let's move on to this Spyro stuff because this is the thing we got the biggest. We got so many questions. Evan, you might as well read it.
We even have a Discord question. It was the first one that popped in. Puzz Solver. Is it true that Spyro for Switch will be a partial download? Anything to add to this rumor?
It looks like it because it's on their own website. The second and the third one apparently are downloads, despite the PS4 and the Xbox One being capable of reading 50 gigabyte Blu-ray discs. I don't get that. Someone explain it to me.
Well, so real quick before we do this, what's his name? Jordan Fringe posted an update to this apparently about 3 hours ago. Did you see it? Where there was like an official person, the official Activision account replied to somebody and basically tried to spin it like, we just meant that there's going to be a day one patch.
No,
sorry,
way.
So here's the thing. Even Jordan doesn't fully believe it in his video because it says it's just going to be a day one patch. We think all games need to have that, so that's why the box says it. And then afterward it says, sorry, we don't have a official announcement prepared yet, which is weird because that seems like if you could say it that easily. So even he thinks that the first message is misworded and it means like every game has to do some stuff being downloaded. But yeah, I honestly think that
I think this is just a thing from Activision to kill used game sales, basically.
I put that in my video. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I think you're right.
My theory is they're going to totally get people to double dip because they made so much money on people double dipping and buying Crash on PS4 and then buying Crash again on Switch. I think what they're going to do is they're going to sell it this basically mostly digital version on PS4, and then later on they're going to make a collector's edition where each game is on an individual disc on PS4 and also the one that's going to come out on Switch.
So is it confirmed that it's like a code, or we don't know yet? Like, is it some sort of code?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. First and foremost, if I'm Activision and there is any fucking chance that these games are actually on the disc, games 2 and 3, and I see IGN, Kotaku, Polygon, Games Rant, Games Radar, Eurogamer, every YouTuber,
Spawnwave,
Spawnwave, RGT85, Dreamcastguy, Jordan Fringe, everyone talking about how games 2 and 3 are not on the disc, and I'm just sitting there like, oh yeah, well, we can't say anything official. Like if they were on the disc, you would come out and say they're on the disc.
Yeah,
exactly. You would be screaming it from the rooftops. You're like, hey guys, I think it's really important to let you know. Fake news.
I'm looking at their website right now. It says games 2 and 3 require download via internet.
You guys are such pessimists. They're on the disc, okay, guys? Just calm down. Everybody wait.
Well, I actually, someone said something interesting, and I don't even know if they said this or if I was napping and I dreamed it. But somebody said something to me like that they are on the disc, but in order to access them, you have to do a download to get because I mean, really, the only reason that they wouldn't be on the disc, in my opinion, is the games just simply aren't done yet. You know, these are Unreal Engine 4 games. They obviously want to release this game in September. They don't want to delay the release for many reasons. The main reason being how many big games are coming out. If they delay it, it could potentially end up being a casualty, even though it's sort of different than a lot of these other games that are coming out. But I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's bullshit is what it is, because like, it makes the disc worthless, it doesn't encourage physical sales. And I understand that we're moving to an all digital age, blah blah blah. But the all digital age isn't as soon as people keep making it out to be. It seems like the only people pushing the narrative of that we're going to be an all digital age, and I think 2022 are the people who want it to be an all digital age in 2022. Yeah. The people who can profit from it being an all digital age in 2022. Like it's a bullshit narrative.
Yes. So I feel like they probably want to match Crash Bandicoot's success because we already know that game's a smash hit. So I feel like the reason why they're doing this, and they just want, basically when you sell the game, they want you to like probably miss Crash 2 and 3 so you can rebuy the game again. So I think they're just playing a little game. Like there's no reason why Crash 2 and 3 shouldn't be on the disc. I think they just
Spyro.
Spyro 2 and 3 shouldn't be on the disc. I think this is a little ploy for more people just to purchase the game, because after you sell it, you only could sell the first game, and I think this is
hold up, time out. How do you know, just real quick, how do you know that you can only sell the first game afterwards? What if you have the disc, you automatically get access to the downloads?
Like if it's in the menu, like if you go in the menu.
So that's my question will be then, if I take my my disc to a different console, then I will be able to download it, or you're gonna need the disc in the console itself to actually play it.
Is it going to be like code? Like, are they going to put codes in?
That's what I'm not sure of. That's why I want to know.
I'm betting that it's going to be the way like Doom works, where you put a Doom cartridge in and then it installs all the multiplayer and stuff. But if you put it in your next Switch, it still installs the multiplayer. So I think
that would be
that
would be the hope. Yeah,
but my question then is, why isn't it just on the disc?
Yeah, exactly.
Are we dealing with 150 gigabytes worth of data?
Well, yeah, I'm totally with KOFI, man. I think you're right. It's part, not only is it part of like the digital future, which sucks totally, but I think it's also part of that fighting used games, man. It reminds me of EA trying to start that battle with used games a couple years ago that totally failed.
They did it with
the
Madden,
online pass,
all the sports stuff. Yeah, the online pass for all the sports stuff. And I think
it's more info though. Before we say it's a comeback to these games, we need just a bit more info, because there's no telling that it couldn't be like Doom, like what Max is saying, or it couldn't be like the other games where you put it and you get that. So I think we need just a little bit more info before we say it's gonna do this. You know,
so Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. How did that work? So basically, if you had a used copy of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and you popped it in, were you able to play Modern Warfare 4?
No, that was a code, and it came when you bought the Ultimate Edition only. So used copies.
It was a code.
It was the same.
I think I seen somewhere that somebody told me that you actually need the disc though to actually play it though.
Yes, you need it. It checks if it's in there before it boots up. But so also, just as a quick aside, also from Destiny, in my video I talked about Destiny, which obviously is all run super tightly by Activision now. If you buy any of the like special edition of Destiny 1 or the new thing that's coming out, the Destiny 2 like combo pack, you get a disc that just says Destiny, and there's like 5 download codes inside it, and that's all it is. It's a box with a special cover. The disc itself is just Destiny or just Destiny.
They've been doing that for a while.
So when the game finally comes out and we see that there's codes, it's 100%.
Oh
just
man,
that would let us know.
That's gonna be bad. That's gonna be bad.
So the question is, do you think the general public will feel way better about this if they're not codes and they transfer to any system, just like with Doom? Do you think people will be like, "Oh, I'm not mad anymore," or do you still think people will be like, "This is bullshit"?
They're going to be pissed.
You can go, Max.
I was just gonna say real quick, sorry, and then I'll let you go, RGT. The Spyro community is lighting the internet on fire. They're so mad because to them, they feel like if they don't have a great internet connection, it's gonna take 5 days to download the game they've been waiting years to play. Or B, what if they have a data cap? Then it's completely unplayable. Sorry, RGT, go.
Oh no, you're good. Here's the thing. Here's the big thing. When does this game come out? September 21st. Why in the fuck on August 4th am I having to wonder if it's all going to be on one disc? Is it going to be half on one? Like, Jesus Christ! It's like a month and 2 weeks.
Let me bring this other theory up that people have. Okay, there is a theory going around right now that the other 2 games, the second and the third one, are actually not finished in time to be printed on the disc.
I am okay with that theory because Activision has done that before. Tony Hawk 5. Does anyone remember the Tony Hawk 5 situation?
That worked out really well for them.
2 out of 10, yeah.
I honestly feel that that's a very strong possibility that those games are just simply not done yet. And like I said, they want to get that September 21st release date by any means necessary, so that they don't have to worry about heavy competition that's going to be in October.
They want this to sell. So y'all see my rant I put on my fancy wig here, and I was the evil CEO of Activision, Doug Money.
Max.
And my thing here is that Doug Money only cares about profit. And I think even if this game is unfinished the way that Tony Hawk 5 is, they're going to ship it. Like, no matter what, we're in a space now where like they're being so slow about the gameplay reveals. They're not like they're doing it in such small seasons. It could be that this game is super unfinished. But you know what? Doug Money is going to put it on store shelves.
That's
I like
Doug
something.
Money.
I'm going to do the comment section's losing. I'm going to do it again.
I prefer Doug Funny.
I was about to say, it's like Doug is one of my favorite shows of all time. So they both of them are good.
I had a board game.
Love Patty Mayonnaise.
Let me go through some of these super chats that popped up. I was waiting to because we were into it with that conversation.
You were yelling.
That was NX Revolution says Zelda Breath of the Wild is the greatest game ever. So how could it not win Game of the Year? I honestly. I kind of miss the traditional dungeons a bit. I'll be honest.
Yeah, dude, when I'm playing through Ocarina again, I'm like, oh, I love these dungeons.
Right.
Like,
man.
they're so much fun.
I mean, I see why the open world is so cool for people, but I think the open world is just something that Breath of the Wild should just have. It's like its unique thing.
Yeah, I think it has the best open world, and arguably probably the best gameplay, but in terms of story, I think that's where it's really lacking. If I had to criticize this game, like other Zelda games that we have played have told like better stories. Look at like Wind Waker and stuff like that. This one we had to get the story in like little flashbacks, so you have to go to little points and little cutscenes every time you got to the divine beasts and stuff like that. So overall, it's definitely one of the best Zelda games I've played, but I don't know if it being the best. Though.
Dude, as someone who I like Zelda, but I never was like, Zelda was not in my top 3 of Nintendo franchises, this is my favorite one, and I'm completely happy with all the changes they made, because I wasn't a huge on like all like going through dungeons and being endlessly lost in them. I was not big on that at all. The water temple just completely killed my enthusiasm
but
for
that's Zelda
dungeons.
Man,
that's Zelda, but look at this new Zelda came out. Everyone's like, oh well, this isn't, that's not kind of, and then it comes out and everybody buys it. It gets the best reviews.
Definitely people are gonna buy it.
That's
fine.
Sales are all that matter. Apparently.
Doug Money.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
Doug Money.
The shrines are amazing. Trust me, I really like the aspect of the shrines that they added, but it would have been nicer if they had like other like major dungeons that took a little bit more time. I think that would have been perfect.
Open world. Do not bring back those stupid water temples.
But if you're going to complain about the water temple, that's one temple out of just hundreds.
Still,
and
I don't.
The Shadow Temple is much.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
and
difficult than the water temple.
The haunted forest temple was so fun to play through.
And I'm telling you guys that I don't like getting lost in dungeons all day.
It sounds like a you problem and less of a me problem.
I don't want to get lost in dungeons all day, man. When I'm playing a game.
That's why I play it though, is I love a game that can actually beat me mentally and tear me down and make me figure it out. That's why I play, is to be trapped in a dungeon and try and figure out, I put a bomb on this wall with cracks and I can get over here. And
that's easy.
So here's the problem, you guys. Here's the problem you guys have right now. You're talking about the wrong Zelda game being the best one with Ocarina of Time. Clearly, it's Link to the Past.
But see,
it's
even
up there also.
Link's Awakening has some of the toughest puzzles ever of any
super
game.
Underrated.
Yeah, I love that one, especially the tower. The tower is so difficult, and it's one of those things where it's like, it takes a lot of hours to beat every dungeon in that game.
Yeah, I Link to the Past is my favorite one, but that one's my favorite one. Probably because I played on the Super Nintendo. Like that was like that and Mario World were the only 2 games I had for like 7 months when I was younger.
It's really all you need, especially when you're 10 years old, man.
Yeah, but then I found the world of Mega Man X and that was it.
Oh yeah,
I rented that.
There's plenty of other great games on the Super Nintendo. Don't get me wrong. It took until the end of its life for Super Metroid though, which was really sad. Right at the end.
And then Chrono Trigger, that was actually the one game that I got in trouble because we kept it like 2 days late for the rental place because I had to finish it. So, when you're younger, you got more time. No, it was Hollywood Video at the time, actually.
Oh, Hollywood, okay.
Yeah, they just opened up. They pushed out the little rental store near me. They were trying to sell like Mega Man X3 and like Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo for $5 and $10 each. And I was like, I can't buy that. And I look back on, I should have bought like 8 of them.
Oh yeah.
I've seen people in the chat showing a lot of love for Skyward Sword, and that's actually one of the few Zelda games I think that game
needs a.
I like that game.
You know what I heard though? I heard that story is good though. I heard the story.
The story
is actually the best story.
It needs a remake. That game needs to be moved to the Switch.
Yeah, and they need to redo some of those puzzles because they really drag those puzzles out. It was so bad.
Dude, why does Link runs around like an idiot in that game? Like, why is he running around?
I never played that game.
I played a lot of it too. I played some of it and I was like, this isn't for me.
Link runs around like I can't get over how Link runs in that game. He runs
the motion control.
It holds his,
Do you know my problem was with that game? That game came out. That game came out when I was getting over like the motion controls, and I was playing my 360 a lot.
That was the end of the Wii's life.
I'll definitely buy that game if they remade it and like took out the motion controls. I'll definitely 100%.
Well, I think that it's a really underrated Zelda game. I think it's a pretty darn good game, but the motion control thing gets all wacky and like that. You almost can't remove the motion controls, which is the fatal flaw of that game, because just fighting simple enemies require like this way and now this way only, and you got to draw.
So they got to rework like the whole game.
And it's not Ocarina of Time, so I mean,
that's the biggest problem.
I'm going to see you. I see your Ocarina and raise you a sealed Majora's Mask.
Do you have one?
I do. Yeah.
This isn't sealed. This is the one I just got off eBay, but it's the shiny gold collector's edition.
I have the collector's edition. I got the collector's edition for $3 a couple of years ago. I have it in my box back here. Literally just by accident, I came up and they thought it was just the box. Like they could not tell. Like, this is super heavy and seems like it's sealed. So I put a $3 price tag on it. This thrift store, and I was like,
Let's go through some more of these super chats here before we get back to that one comment set everyone off.
Gotta yell about this Zelda.
Thanks, NX Revolution. Jintoki Cruz says RGT85. When are you hosting your game show with John? You have a game show you're gonna do?
I don't know. We can do one.
Okay, cool. Chad Saran says day one patch increases gameplay by 200%. Yep. Or exactly 2 games. Mr. Snappy Paul says these people know me. I guess that's towards OJ. I think you know Mr. Snappy Paul's right, OJ.
He's a weird individual, but yes, I do know you, man. Okay. How's it going?
OJ knows everybody.
Right. K19 says this doesn't change the fact that I'm still buying Spyro. I already wait for the download and day one patches for new games and new consoles. I think there are going to be a lot of people who don't mind the physical stuff because there are a lot of people who have gone into the digital age and they're going to buy it digitally anyway. So it doesn't, doesn't matter.
And if you're a fan of it, like, I'm obsessed with Shenmue. Shenmue 2 could be 2 separate $50 downloads and I'd still buy it because I love Shenmue too much.
Yeah, they underpriced that. I'm going to tell you now, they underpriced that collection. They could have got 50 for that easy.
We'll get into that later. Yeah. There's a reason for that. When we talk about Sega, I'll talk about that later.
K19 says, I'm sorry, I'm with PE on this one. I get PlayerEssence, OJ. I guess probably during some of these are, I think, during the Zelda rampage that just took place. NX Revolution says saying a link to the past is better than Ocarina of Time. Those are fighting words. Well, honestly, a link to the past must have been good because they used the exact same formula for Ocarina of Time. 3 dungeons, then 7 dungeons. Come on.
They made it better.
Yeah. You think that 3D and the 5 frames per second made it better?
Yes.
The 5 frames per second.
The water temple is easy. That's from Link 2. Water Temple. That's the thing.
They made it easy on the 3DS.
Yeah, I beat it on the 3DS.
It's not as hard as the internet tells everyone, but it's not easy either.
Well, the big thing that everyone kind of skews over is the fact that the Water Temple is actually broken. If you use a key, there's one key early on that if you use your small key on the wrong door, you get stuck. Like your save file is ruined. Like that's the main reason built out of it. It's like,
that's just it weeds out the good players from the
shit. It is, yeah.
Use weird keys on weird doors.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I love Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I like it. It's just
Ocarina's good. It's a good game.
It's just not as good as Breath of the. It's just Breath of the Wild is just a lot better. I mean,
I think Breath of the Wild will be a lot more timeless, no pun intended, than Ocarina. But Ocarina was just game changing when that came out, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was fortunate to show up around the turn of the 3D era with the N64.
Oh yeah.
Avedon Smith says Zelda 2 is stressful. Yes, it was. It still is stressful. You might play now.
Screw that game.
K19 says, did you guys notice that Link is now right-handed on Breath of the Wild? Skyward Sword is good on emulator with the remote. I have not played Skyward Sword with an emulator, but I do know Dolphin. Dolphin's very good with Metroid Prime. So. By the way, the person who made that tech demo actually commented and said they might make a playable demo of that.
Oh my god!
Yes, Unreal Engine 4. Yeah.
Oh my! I will freaking die if that's even possible.
Yeah, if he has a Patreon, I'm throwing money at it.
Seriously.
So yeah, very cool. Okay, that's all the super chats there. Let's go on to okay, yeah, we got the. So we did get this is actually a good spot, Evan, for that question as well when we get to it. The PS4 and Nintendo Switch did get updated unit sales. We did find out that the Switch is just shy of 20 million. It's like 19 point, what is it, OJ? 19.6?
19.67?
Okay. Yep. That is as of June 30th. And then we found out as of June 30th, the PS4 is just over 82 million. They updated their sales forecast for next March to 96 million. Nintendo is still staying very firm at 20 million, despite the first fiscal quarter was just over 1.8 million Switch units. So they still have roughly another 18 million or so to go to get there. That, of course, is the quarter we're in now, and then the holiday, and then one more into next year, which we talked about up to April. Was there any thoughts about the unit sales or anything? We kind of talked about that a bit more than I thought we would earlier. But is there any thoughts on unit sales and everything for the PS4 and the Switch.
I assumed early on that it would break 100 million, but the fact that it's going to break 100 million and probably way more than that is actually kind of crazy to see it happening. I mean, it could hit 110 or 115 million before it's all done.
I think it's going to touch 120.
I think so,
and it's
wow.
It's just so nuts to be one of the best selling consoles ever when it's all said and done. That's nuts.
That's going to be Sony's third system that touched 100 million.
Yep.
It's a shame that home consoles are dying. Though.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know.
I was starting to pull up articles from 2012 that was like, home consoles are dead. They're dying. Sony's about to go out of business. And the Wii U is terrible.
Sony's expected to do that. Even with the PS3 and all the issues they had, they still sold a lot of systems. They still sold 80-something million, almost 90. So Sony's always going to do that because I think Sony always plays it the safest. So if you play it the safest and you just kind of do it that way, you're probably always guaranteed to sell a pretty good amount.
The asymmetrical processor of the PS3 and $600 price point was safe.
I don't know about Sony playing it the safest. I feel like what
I've never heard that before.
Has put PlayStation in this position is just their commitment for first party content. I feel like that's what's really putting them there in their position.
Are you sure it wasn't Microsoft completely flubbing everything beforehand? Are you sure that wasn't a part of it?
So they
definitely Microsoft shot themselves in the foot earlier in this generation. But even look at last generation with the PS3, and even though the PS3 came out and it was a shitstorm, cost $600, and look how they turned it around as well. So honestly, Sony, they're doubling down on first party content. There's articles saying that too. So I feel like if they continue to provide like exclusives like Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and continue to invest in Last of Us, God of War, continue to invest in these, they're always gonna be top dog. Because when you really look at every other platform, like no one's really making games like how PlayStation is making games like at that kind of caliber, and it's just the truth.
Well, their strategy now is clearly just dropping explosive releases every 3 or 4 months. And they definitely space stuff out in a way where it's going to be like, okay, here's this giant project. Here's this giant project. So in between, you'll see console sales dip, but then the next one comes out and they skyrocket again. Like God of War comes out, like everybody in the world suddenly goes, oh, I got to get a PlayStation 4. So as long as they can keep that, as long as they're able to keep this pace going, it's just going to keep selling.
And they got a whole bunch of talented developers, so PlayStation is going to be for years and years to come.
Well, a lot of them are already working on PS5 stuff now.
I just said that the PlayStation 4 might be the safest thing that they've done. And
it's because they mirror the traditional game console. I think is what
there's nothing necessarily like what is the. I mean, Microsoft tried to push the Kinect on us. That wasn't great, but at least it was something different. Obviously, Nintendo does crazy things. PS4 was the safest bet. Sony took away the camera and all that, and the bundle that they were going to do beforehand to make sure that it was to not do what Microsoft did.
They did do VR though.
They did, So they did definitely took a chance on that because
on what.
VR.
But that's not that's a separate thing outside of
that runs on the PS4.
You got to PS4 to run it though.
Yeah, almost like the Kinect, right?
So the whole thing is the reason the PlayStation 4 is so successful is that it doesn't try and change the wheel; it refined it. Like so much of the fact that everybody talks about the fact that people a lot of times say that the PS4 controller, a lot of people consider it the best controller ever because it's just basically all the previous PlayStation controllers, but just rounded out to not suck.
That 360, man. That 360 controller.
Best control. People say that's the best controller.
I hate the
definitely the best PlayStation controller. Definitely the best PlayStation. Not even competition. Yeah.
Not like 360 controller. I like the Xbox One controller too, though.
I like my Xbox. My Xbox One controller feels heavy as hell when I'm playing in like a bunch of hours. I definitely end up setting it on something.
See, weirdly, that's kind of what I like about it. I don't know why. Like I compare it to like the Wii U's Pro controller, and I know Wii U's a dirty word, but whatever. So that controller is a really comfortable controller, but I never liked how light it feels, and I like that the Xbox One has this weird, perfect weight to it. It doesn't like really affect the feel.
Speaking
I
on
just
the
like
Wii U, I didn't like where they placed the sticks. I thought the sticks were kind of weird to being up top like that for the Wii U. I didn't really like that.
I like light controllers. I think light controllers are good. I
like lighter ones as well.
It's weird, and it's not like it's bad. I think once I got the Xbox One controller in my hand for the first time, I think that was when I was like, man, like the weight makes it feel like sturdy and comfortable.
Perfect.
And I just
the triggers feel really nice on it too.
the first variation, because Microsoft released like a whole bunch of variations of their controller, but I remember the bumpers were really stiff with my day one Xbox, but since then they have actually fixed it and made it a lot like softer. So I really enjoy the Xbox One controller.
I'm waiting for their Elite controller to get announced at Gamescom. The new one.
A version 2. That's the rumor.
Controller's heavy. I've got an Elite controller. It's heavy.
Yeah, they have a new one coming out with USB-C. So I'm waiting.
They need to fix the dead zones on the sticks. That's what they need to fix.
The original, this is the launch Xbox One controller. The buttons click. Like that's the hard thing. Like stiff. You literally are like, oh, let me just reload my gun.
When is Gamescom?
August 21st.
Which button did you say, Matt? This is the one that I got with my Xbox One X. You said that the top bumpers click?
Yeah, mine click.
Yeah, because you got the new controller, so those bumpers are a lot softer than the day one.
Dude, you got to get the sweet Project Scorpio one, man. I got the fancy one. Not really. No, I'm waiting for that V2, the V2 Elite controller. I'll go buy that. Definitely. But yeah, I'd go with the. Yeah, I like the. I just use the 360 controller a lot. Like I did not like the PS3 controller, to be honest. I think it's light when it came out.
The D-pad on the 360 controller is complete trash.
That one is bad.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things where I didn't notice it until when Street Fighter 4 came out. I was like, I'm gonna get into this, and I couldn't. I ended up having to buy a weird third-party controller that was like, it basically had like a joystick and the normal controller buttons.
You know what was a good third-party controller on the 360 was the Razer Onza. I like that thing.
I don't know.
Anyone else have that? That was the one where you could change the tension on the sticks by twisting them. That was cool. I like that thing.
Mine snapped off pretty quick. Like I bought it secondhand. It was like one of the first things I ever bought on eBay, and it broke real quick. So I don't know.
I do remember that Microsoft did release a controller where you actually had like a transforming D-pad. You guys remember that?
It would raise and lower when you twisted it.
Yeah, you could twist it and it raised it. It still was bad.
I didn't play fighting games though, so to me, because the 360, I played first-person shooters on there like Halo. That was the perfect controller.
Yeah, it was good for that.
Yeah, that controller is fantastic. My only complaint going back now is the battery pack. It feels like it gets in the way. So the wired controller for like the 360 is probably like the best because the battery pack's not in the way. Yeah.
Cool. So let's what were you talking about? We're talking about sales and everything. Did you guys see that Gran Turismo added microtransactions?
Yeah.
Did you see this? I play Gran Turismo occasionally, and I went on the shop and I put a video up on Twitter because I thought it was hilarious. I scroll down, there's like 200 cars you can buy now for actual money.
I looked into it, and maybe you can confirm this. So I read you can basically now buy all the starting cars and like half of the mid-range cars, but not the high-end cars.
You cannot buy the high
cars.
Yeah, super expensive ones you can't.
The problem is they're on camera saying that there won't be microtransactions.
Yeah, that's when I looked into it. They were like, "Oh, we're never going to do this," and then a year later,
the timing is crazy for this too because we got news that Forza is actually taking away the loot boxes. Then we get news of GT Sport adding microtransactions. So it's really crazy.
Well, dude, developers rely on camera, and it's
Sean Murray
in a year. Well, Sean Murray,
man.
But also the big one is Player Unknown, Brendan Green. Like he kept saying over and over and over again, we're never gonna have monetized loot boxes in PUBG. Like you buy the game, and that's all you ever gotta do, and then the game starts tanking super hard now, and all of a sudden they invented a garbage battle pass and microtransactions and separate loot crates. It's just like, and now everyone's just abandoning that game.
We heard that the sales weren't very good with Gran Turismo Sport compared to older ones. So it's like, you follow the money, and that tells you right there. You know,
if you guys remember, Shinji Mikami still owes us a decapitation for Resident Evil 4.
I've heard that's a misquote.
That never happened. I think that's what he said, right? Like, I'll cut my head off if it ever comes anywhere but the game.
No. He said
1 year later.
They said, would you make Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2? And he said it'd be easier to cut my own head off.
Is that what he said?
And I've heard that's a mistranslation, and that apparently he actually says something along the lines of like basically still a suicide thing, but it wasn't like how difficult it was. Like he was still like, I'm going to cut my throat, but I'm not going to cut my whole head off.
Maybe he might. He's got two heads. He could be talking about.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
It's just amazing, and more than likely they saw that people were actually playing the game, but they weren't getting any new sales. And they even bundled it. The reason I have mine is because when I bought my PlayStation VR, it came with the game. So That's how I got it.
It's so weird, like Gran Turismo. Why don't they just make it like they used to make them? Where it's just like this is the next one. What is all this weird sport? And then
I
like
hate that shit, dude.
motorsport kind
Gran
of sport.
Turismo. Gran Turismo growing up.
Water sports, after sports, VR
Wait,
sports. Like, can we just get Gran Turismo?
The best is when they released the prologue, which was like the demo. That was the best. When that came out, I was like, "What is going on?"
Well, you can't really blame them because they know that GT is their big seller. Like,
dude, Forza just pushes that franchise around now. Like it's
microtransaction sport.
Like Forza,
in terms of content and features, definitely it's something GT Sport.
Which is weird because Gran Turismo was king for so long.
Thank
so,
you.
you remember when it came out on the PS2 and it was like the third one? I was like, this is
dude,
GT3 was amazing.
Oh man,
Gran Turismo 2 on the Dreamcast.
Yep, I was just about to say that. You basically get the graphics of the PlayStation 3, but with the Dreamcast controller, which is oh so comfortable, of course, and it's just so freaking good.
I'm sorry, dude. This is hilarious. The third one, Gran Turismo 3, came out with the PS2, right?
Yes.
And it looked amazing. And around the same time, I remember there was that rumor going around that Saddam Hussein was buying up PS2s in bulk.
Yep.
To the news, the local news actually talked about it at one point. Like there was a rumor going around, and I saw it. And I saw Gran Turismo 3, and I was like, "They're telling the truth. We're in trouble."
Dude, I was working for GameStop during like the whole 6th gen, and the 3 biggest games I remember with the most hype of that whole generation were Halo 2 was easily the most hyped at that time. GTA Vice City and Gran Turismo 4. I remember people losing their freaking minds for Gran Turismo. And it was never my thing. Like, Sean, I know you love it, but I was like, man, people love this racing game. It's not Mario Kart, so I don't know why people care. But people totally lost their minds for that game.
I used to have like a $300 steering wheel and shit for my PS3.
Do you still have that Dreamcast disc, by the way?
I do, yeah.
Oh, do you really? Oh,
yeah, it's great. I have all 3 of them. I have the Tekken 3. I've got Tekken 3. I've got Metal Gear Solid, and I've got the Gran Turismo 2. The bad thing is it takes an entire memory card. When you put a memory card in there, it reprograms it to think it's plugged into a PlayStation, so you can't save anything else on it. But since I have the Dreamcast steering wheel, what I used to do is my dad had these giant record boxes. I would set up a record crate and I'd put the pedals inside it and the steering wheel on top, and I'd actually drive around a Gran Turismo like I was actually racing.
You can capture footage from your Dreamcast, can't you?
Yeah, I have an HDMI.
Dude, you should do a video on that stuff. That's so cool.
People have done great side-by-side comparisons that are way better than I do. And capturing stuff with my HDMI Dreamcast mod is such a pain. It only works on this older capture card. I literally have to like reconfigure my entire office every time I want to record gameplay from it.
That's why Miss Clicks in the chat probably she would have came in here yelling about us yelling about Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah, definitely. She loves that game.
Good.
Poor girl.
Miss Click, I don't know you, but you have excellent taste. That game is
poor girl.
It's not perfect, but it's underrated.
Evan, you want to steer us back on track? We missed a question in the Discord.
We missed a couple questions. Back with the console sales. We talked about the PlayStation, but we had Geek 127. What do you think could explain the lackluster Nintendo hardware sales? It's less than this quarter last year, and last year they had shortage even. So do you think Nintendo's momentum may be slowing down? I hope not.
Games. I think it's the games. There wasn't anything like big, like nothing like whoa, like Octopath didn't fall into that quarter or anything. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was lackluster either. It was 5% down from the year before. So I wouldn't really call it lackluster.
I totally agree with you. I kind of mentioned this in a video. I think the last one I made, it's not so much, I don't want to say slowing down. I just feel like it's evening out because they were so front loaded in that launch year with so many great games that you normally don't get in the launch year. So that propelled them, and now it's like, okay, now we're back to like kind of a regular steady stream of games. You get Octopath here and there, and Kirby and Smash and Pokemon. I think it's just evening out as opposed to like going.
I think it's because people saw 1.8 or so, and then they saw the PS4 did 3.2. Yeah. So they were kind of like looking at it probably side by side like that.
Well, the PS4 was shocking. Like it was like, but that was because, like you said, God of War.
It's God of War, man. Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. Normally, sorry, Dreamcast guy. Normally, with video games, usually have all of your big games for Nintendo. It's the fall season, like the fall. That's the second half. People were it's kind of different because Switch launched in March. You know what I'm saying? So it got those big games earlier than what you would normally see. But overall, in terms of actual games, if you looked deeper, more between the lines, Nintendo actually did way better with profits and everything because of software sales.
The games,
they more than doubled up on what they sold the previous quarter. It went from like 8 million to like 17 million. Their profits skyrocketed on there because there was way more games. You have Paladins, Fortnite, you have Ys 8, Wolfenstein. You just have way more stuff on the system than before. So you got to think of it that way too. People like to look at just like numbers and say, oh well, it did better before. But if you look at the overall thing, Nintendo crushed their last year at the same time because of the software sales.
Well, was revenue up 44% or some shit like
that? Yeah, revenue was up way much. Digital sales were up a lot. Like I said, they sold more than double the software. They went from I think they sold more than 17 million pieces of software. So
that's what Nintendo does better than anyone, because they're not like failing with the Switch, don't get me wrong, but even when they aren't doing well, like in the Wii U years, they're like that only company that can find a way to still be profitable. And the Wii U doesn't do well and everyone hates it, but then they also sell 8 million copies of Mario Kart and make a bunch of profit and a whole bunch of copies of Splatoon.
They're also very
well, sure.
Yeah, 3DS.
Like they're the only company that can dip but also still make a profit, and it's just impressive what they do.
My thing is, I'm actually very impressed that the Switch sold as well as it did, because my fear was this was a little bit of a Switch drought when it came to games, but the console still sold quite well for the fact that there was not like a massive bombshell release. There wasn't like a Mario that randomly came out or something. Like Mario Odyssey didn't come out in February. It sold beyond my expectations. And I think it's because Switch took a while to build up steam. Like people were buying it like crazy at the start. It had a lot of early adopters, but I think the games were trickling out. And by the time it got to November and December and the whole lineup was out, people were just rushing to buy it. So I think a lot of the people that have been buying it this quarter are just the people who wanted to get it in November and couldn't afford it.
It's still a good time to buy a Switch, because if you think about it and you don't have the console, there's actually quite a few games to like check out, from Mario Odyssey, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart. So, the software, I feel like when it comes to like this year so far, some people will call it a drought. I would say it's definitely a drought if you own the Wii U. If you own the Wii U, it's 100% a drought and you played all these games. Well, like a lot of people miss out on these games. Like we're seeing Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze sell 1.4 million copies. Like that's absolutely that's awesome. Crazy. Because if you guys remember clearly, I don't think Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze even broke like 500,000.
And they got $10 for it this time.
on the Wii U. So that's crazy when you really think about it. So a lot of people miss out on these games. So if you own the Wii, you probably think, this so far it's been pretty lackluster. But if you didn't, there's actually quite a few games to look into.
Also, let's be real. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to say, let's be real here. Like, we're all acknowledging kind of a slow year, especially with first-party stuff for 2018. Mm-hmm. That only tells us one thing to me, which is that 2019 is probably going to be more insane.
Yeah.
They're going to have we already know about Pokemon. We're assuming maybe Bayonetta. I think it's crazy to think that Metroid isn't also 2019.
You're going to get Metroid. Yeah, you're going to get Metroid, and you're going to get a Pokemon mainline.
Oh, Fire Emblem also?
Fire Emblem.
I mean, dude, there's so many... 2019 is
going to destroy. OG, how many copies of Fire Emblem do you think is going to sell?
It's going to be 4 million plus, dude.
Really? You think it's going to be 4 million plus?
4 million. Octopath sold freaking a million in a couple weeks.
It's going to outsell Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Fire Emblem is going to sell 4 million plus on the Switch. If Octopath can sell 1 million in a couple weeks, Fire Emblem is going to absolutely crush Octopath.
I was a little bit not sure, but that's a really good point, though. So I think I might agree with you, OJ. That's a really good point.
ARMS is at 2 million.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's 1-2 Switch and ARMS are at 4 million. You're trying to tell me that
1-2 Switch is not so much of a surprise, because if you guys look in the history of consoles, the launch titles do extremely well.
Dude, everyone was crapping on that game. Everyone was crapping on that game and said it wasn't going to sell. Everyone was crapping on the game and said, now we're looking back and said, oh, well, it's a launch game. No, everyone was crapping on the game. You
can sell trash at launch. People are going to buy it. That's just the reality.
True.
You can sell trash.
People have continued to buy it. Here's the thing. People have, if you look at the sales, people have continued to buy 1-2 Switch. It's not like it sold 2 million units at launch and then nobody else bought it. It sold like another 100,000 units in the past quarter.
It's a different market. It's just reaching there.
I don't know why they buying that game, man.
ARMS sold 2 million.
I want to find the person who is standing there, like getting a Switch, and then they look over and they're like,
I want 1-2 Switch.
Or 1-2 Switch.
You know who it is?
Don't buy that, please.
Yeah.
Kids love that shit. My fucking my cousin's 2 sons they're big into the Switch and the 3DS, and like every time I go up to see my grandma, they always come over and they're like, "Have you bought ARMS yet?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Buy ARMS. We want to play you." I'm like, "I'm not fucking buying ARMS. Stop asking me." They're like, "No, it's great."
So
Sounds
you guys
good."
are
Swift
telling me that
backhand.
Fire Emblem can't sell 2 million more units than ARMS. Is that what you guys are trying to tell me?
No. I'm saying
I'm not gonna say that.
my thing was that I don't think I personally cannot imagine it outselling Octopath because I love Octopath so much. Like it's my own bias for Octopath is that I think Octopath is going to keep selling. You're laughing at me like I'm being a fucking idiot right now. So
How can it not sell Octopath? Fire Emblem has sold like
I think
the last
yeah,
one
but
sold,
the
like,
fact
I don't
popular,
obsess
right?
over sales charts, so I don't have as much data as you. I'm saying empirically from the current results I have
What's,
about Octopath's trajectory.
What's Fire Emblem usually selling the 3DS? Isn't it like 3 million?
I think
It's
three.
It does pretty well. I think Awakening did really good too, right?
I'm gonna say Fire Emblem sells around 2 to 3 million.
Should we place hard bets on this podcast?
Hey.
Now reputation's at stake.
I'm gonna sell 1.5 million, and OJ falls over
What?
dead.
What's Octopath gonna finish at?
7 million.
2.5.
I think
2.5.
I am absolutely amazed that it sold. I'm actually working on a video on third-party games that are selling really well on the Switch, even better than on other systems. And there's a correlation that's pretty fucking obvious. But
yeah, a lot of indies too. A lot of indies are doing way.
Well, you know what it is? I'm going to ruin my video. But basically, if you look at the main games that are doing it, the best examples are Octopath, Sonic Mania Plus, Crash Insane Trilogy, and Bloodstained. And what do all 4 of those games have in common? They're all sort of like a retro style thing. And then you look at stuff like Blaster Master Zero, which sold over 100,000 copies. The Mega Man games are selling really well. It's very interesting to see. I'm trying to figure out kind of why, I guess, is the
portability. That's what I feel like, because playing like Sonic Mania on the TV, then playing it in a portable, it kind of takes you back to those nostalgic days, playing like Sonic Advance.
There's no performance differences between that and
Yeah.
I mean, 50
because those indies, those 2D indies, I feel like they're just perfect for handheld games. I think I'd rather play them in that kind of small form factor. You know, kind of takes me back to like the Game Boy days instead of playing on a big TV. So, Sonic Mania, I actually purchased that on the Switch, and for me, how I use my Switch, I never ever dock my Switch unless I'm streaming. Like it's forever in portable mode. I'm one of those type of Switch gamers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I do hope Fire Emblem does well, but we'll see what happens when it comes out. I'm curious. 3 to 4 million would be very good for that game, though. I'd say. I think.
I mean, OJ really convinced me. I think 3 million is the floor for that game. Okay. I think it'll do pretty well. So.
Okay.
Well, this is the first Fire Emblem on a console in like how long, right? It's since the game
10 years.
They had it on the Wii, right?
Wii,
right? So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of hype surrounding this next one that's coming out. So I think it's going to do extremely well.
It's the first one in more than 10 years. And then it's also the first HD Fire Emblem game ever made as well. Well, because we're not counting Tokyo Mirage Sessions, that thing. Although that's a really good game. That's a really good game.
I thought you liked that game.
No, I really do like the game. The Wii U makes that game worse than what it should be. It's actually
tablet requirement, right?
Yeah, the Wii U gamepad, it completely, that game's might be if you like the whole waifu simulator type of deal and like the singing and all that outside of all that, like the gameplay is so good. It's a nice blend. It's actually more Shin Megami Tensei than anything. If they put that out on the Switch, I think it would do a lot better than it did on the Wii. It did nothing on the Wii U. But yeah, the gamepad kind of ruined that game. In my opinion, the gamepad ruined that game. It would have got a lot better. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It would have got maybe a 10 out of 10 or a 9 point something like that without the gamepad, without it. But yeah. But anyway, we'll see how Fire Emblem does.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'll be curious. That'll be fun to watch. Just see. It's coming out after Smash too, and since Smash reminds everyone that Fire Emblem characters exist, that'll help them. Evan, do we have another question before we move on?
Along the lines of the sales, because we were talking about, I guess, going forward, this one kind of works. Do you think Nintendo plans to reduce the Switch price to $250, and are they factoring that into their 20 million Switch this fiscal year?
They already lowered it in Japan. It just doesn't come with anything.
And in Canada.
Yeah, they did drop in Canada.
They dropped it a bit here. I feel like we're gonna get a real price drop when we get like a redesign.
I think they should just do bundles.
Yeah,
bundles is bundles. Yeah, they're just gonna do bundles. I don't think they're gonna drop the price. If anything, they just say, you get Mario Odyssey with it or something.
Mario Odyssey is a good one.
Make a stupid yellow fucking Switch. Put it with the Pokemon game, and then you're golden.
Yeah, dude, make that Pikachu special edition, and people lose their mind.
Don't even worry about Eevee.
They could make one that's called the Switch Waluigi edition. It's purple. And it could be $400, and people would still buy it.
I'm buying
need a game.
No, because you're gonna get everyone who says people want Waluigi and Smash, and you're gonna get like 2 people that actually buy. There's a lot of people online that say they want Waluigi, and then they won't.
Yeah, that's both of us. It'd be me.
One that plays as Waluigi in Mario Tennis whenever I go online. No one else plays as him.
Gotta love the Waluigi fans, man.
I know.
That's the only amiibo I own. I own a couple Zelda ones that I was sent by a Nintendo. The only amiibo I've ever bought was Waluigi.
That is amazing.
I only have Villager and just
I bought this guy so that I could skip straight to the Odyssey levels in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. That fucking game ended up costing me $55 for this in the game.
I've only ever bought one amiibo. I'm not getting into that, dude. It's just not happening.
Yeah,
I think it's
Are you gonna get the Mega Man one?
No. Okay. The Mega Man
one's pretty nice, man.
I might get the Mega Man one. To be
I'm gonna
honest.
get the Dark Souls one.
Yeah, it'll look really good next to this one. I mean,
Hey,
DLC that you can sell, right?
Yeah. I just want him because of the stat. Like I would actually get like a Mega Man X statue thing for like $50, but the amiibos are like, I think there's a special edition Mega Man 11 I was gonna get anyway, and I think it just comes with the amiibo.
Yep.
And it's like $60 because you get stickers. You're better off like buying it individually.
That's true. I don't know. I'm a sucker for Mega Man, so the special edition stuff. I'm one of the people that bought it physically on the Switch for whatever reason, even though it comes with the code.
That box art is worth buying it physically, in my opinion.
The box art
comes with a code. It doesn't come in a cartridge.
It comes with one cartridge, and then the second one is a code.
So that's because on Xbox and PS4 it's 2 discs.
Yeah,
which is stupid.
Wait. Mega Man X is 2 discs on PS4 and Xbox.
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically collection one. Collection
they
one.
want it to be 2 different SKUs.
But how is it 2 different SKUs if you have to purchase
because you could go to GameStop and you can just trade in one disc.
Yeah. And if you every disc that you've ever bought has that separate code on the inner side.
So while Activision and Capcom are doing complete polar opposites,
I brought that
and
up
they're
in my
both
video
fucking
about it,
stupid as hell.
Dude, you know what would be absolutely hilarious? This is something else somebody brought up. What if the PS4 and the Xbox One version of Spyro comes out? It has codes with it for Spyro 2 and 3. They have enough time to finish the games, and they all come on one cart for the Switch like Crash.
Oh,
that would be the weirdest thing ever. Because
I'm gonna have to put my wig back on and make another video.
That would be the weirdest thing ever to see that.
I would be so pissed.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, people would be really mad about that. And you know what? It's gonna be really funny if they do that and we go to download the first Spyro game and it's like 8 gigabytes.
Right.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
When I was researching my video, I found out that Blu-rays can hold up to about 100 gigs now total if you do multi-layered double side.
They have the Blu-ray X. The ones that the PS4 and the Xbox One can read are technically 50 gigabyte ones because they don't have the expensive cool readers in there.
But still, 50 gigs, you should be able to fit 3 freaking remastered games.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Crash is like 23 gigabytes for all 3 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're complete remakes though.
No, that's true. It's done in Unreal Engine, right? For Spyro.
I mean, the Spyro games came out before, and I was talking with Jordan on my podcast about this, but they're literally brand new games, guys. I mean, they didn't use anything from the PS.
Yeah, but they would have shared assets between them, right? Like the Spyro model will be the same in all of them, right?
No, well, yes, but also, what OJ's talking about. Now that I've said both answers,
that is a clip to put on Twitter, man.
Exactly. This is political Max. Hello, vote Dreamcast guy, where both answers are incorrect unless you want them to be.
Sean, somebody sent me a message about one of your news videos. Did you see that where you left like a clip in of yourself like fixing your bags under your eyes and then turning back to the camera?
No, that sounds right though.
Oh, it's outstanding. People were like, "That's an awkward pause." Like someone sent me a message. There's like you have like 40 upvotes on it in your comments.
Dude, I
left
awkward.
Is it recent?
Yeah, it's in your last news one. Go look at it. It's so funny.
I'd rather not.
It's just funny, dude. It's not even like it's just funny.
The only time I've seen RGT mess up in one of your videos, you're like talking at one point, and you're like, "This game is just so." It's bad, and then you pause for a second. You go, "It's good, but it could be better." Like clearly, you meant to edit out the bad or the good, but you left both in, and it's like
sounds about right.
Oh, that's great. So are we good, Evan, with the Discord stuff?
For those, yeah. I mean, we got other questions. Do we want to get into?
We only got about 20 minutes left, so we'd have to rapid fire some of them before we do these.
All right. We got a question which I will drop in our little chat here. What do you guys think of the Undertale Collector's Edition?
Looks good. They had one on the PS4, I think. Same kind of thing, but it looks good. I mean, it's if you're a fan of Undertale, you'll probably want it. Only in Japan right now, though, I think, which is weird. Because that was, I believe, I thought that was like an American game. I thought
it is
like that's weird. That's weird. I don't get it. I don't get that. Yeah, I don't know. But it's it was on the PS4. They had a special edition there.
I think it's tying into maybe what's potentially happening, with the whole Nindies type of deal, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right, because there's a we're gonna get to that in a second. But there's a rumor for Nindies getting announced next week.
They also have a concrete release date in Japan, but not
September
in the US. 15th.
Well, that's the anniversary for the game. That's when it released. Yep. Quick super chats. Chad Sarant, Fire Emblem, 3 Houses, GOAT. There you go. Jay's on board with that.
Let's go.
Chad Sarant again. Switch is great for portable indie Steam games. I actually agree with that, because a lot of indie developers are like sprinting at the Switch right now for everything. And I mean, stuff sells there, so why not? And then there's one more, but I'm gonna save that because that talks about the Nintendo Online. We might actually close out with that one. For that.
Because we only have one other question, although it's kind of weird. It's a technical question that we would take forever to really go into it. We could probably gloss over it here. What's faster for load times, physical or digital? Does DLC affect this? I have noticed that the more patches Splatoon 2 gets, the longer the initial load up is. I have a physical copy. Would there be any benefits by purchasing a digital copy as well to run instead?
Probably not. No. I mean, it would be so small you wouldn't even notice it. Well, but I mean,
historically with things we've experienced, at least, it almost matters game to game. Like, remember, it was one of the Halo ones where if you installed it to the hard drive, it loaded slower than off the disc.
Oh, well, yeah, but we're talking like cartridges on the Switch right now. I mean,
yeah, but it's digital versus physical, basically. But it seems to be. It matters with the thing it's loading on, like the actual system, and then the game and how the developers made it work. Because I guess something has to preload at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you go from a disc and you install it on your hard drive, yeah, it's going to be faster. But I mean, Digital Foundry has tested these things like crazy, and I mean, we're talking like milliseconds for the differences. But I feel like the more DLC and content they add, the more stuff has to load, and yeah, it'll take a little longer, but not that much. Honestly, just go with whatever's convenient. If you don't mind having a cartridge on you, and you have a case and everything, go with that. Otherwise, you have a big SD card, just, get digital.
I will say the one difference is definitely on PSP. Every game you can get digital, digital. Because those UMDs
suck.
Yeah, you actually can't. There are certain parts of the GTA games that if you're riding on a motorcycle, the ground just disappears. But if you install it to the hard drive, it actually runs perfectly.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, we're talking about physical media. Yeah, absolutely. There was a person who with the Sega Saturn. It's all over YouTube and everything. Big video, but they made it so that it reads off of like SD cards now instead, or just a hard drive even now, an ID drive, and it reads too fast. So they had to actually program it in so that it slowed down and read around the same speed as the disk drive would, because it was just things would load in too fast, and the game would the game logic would get messed up. It was kind of interesting to hear about that.
They had that with remember when they were first working on a third-party Sega Genesis? They were having that same problem too, where they could make the processing too fast, and the game was built to be laggy a little bit. So it's like the game would literally just not make sense. It was just
like it was blast processing, man.
Yeah, it was too much blasting, not enough processing.
Too much blast.
Oh man, is that the last question though, Evan?
We are closed out for the Discord until next week.
All right, so let's go over the Sega looking to revive older IPs, and then we'll finish up with the Nintendo Direct and online.
Yes.
All right, so Sega looking to revive older IPs going forward. They put this into their recent fiscal quarter report, which actually a lot of their stuff was down, but they're not losing money. They're still making money just a little bit, but they're making money. A slower quarter for them, obviously, going forward, because they got Shenmue coming up, which I do think Shenmue 1 and 2 is going to do really well. By the way, Max, why is that priced at $30?
So this thing, basically, I've got a source that's told me that they're all watching this. Basically, they've had Shenmue made for a while. Shenmue HB has been mostly done for a while. They just had to do the last 90% to basically add in the modern controls and get the cutscenes to run better. But they've had this completed since like the Xbox 360 era. So they're putting this out for dirt cheap because at this point, it's not much development cost. And it's a giant experiment where the better it sells, they're going to try and bring more older IP forward. So personally, as somebody who is obsessed with Skies of Arcadia and owns every version of it, I'm hoping that's up next. And remember, we've also heard rumblings that they themselves are looking at Jet Set Radio and trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with it, because they are interested with it. And remember that tiny team last year pitched a indie version of Jet Set, and they said no. And I'm thinking, and this is my own speculation, that they wanted to do something with it, and they just didn't like the idea that those people had. And so if the Shenmue collection sells like crazy, they're going to know, okay, we can just bring these older games forward and maybe just create like remasters and re-releases, and then also do direct sequels if there's enough interest.
That's cool. That's cool. If they show up with a new Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio, if they want to go with that to E3, whew, I'm in.
Well, especially because the end of Jet Set Radio Future implies that it was going to be a trilogy. We never got that third game.
I don't know. Is there like a huge fan base or market for that though? Like,
I think there's a lot of fans that are dormant right now.
Maybe.
It'd be worth revisiting.
I think there's a lot of hype surrounding just the name, and I think even gamers who didn't get to experience it will probably want to see what the hype is about. So I think if a Jet Set were to come out now, people would definitely take a look at it. But you know what game I would like Sega to bring back? Virtual Fighter. I think the fighting game.
Christ, I don't know why I don't know why it's not around.
I can tell you guys why it's not.
You know, this, like we're seeing Dead or Alive come back, Dead or Alive 6. We're seeing Soul Calibur 6. That's coming back. Oh, it'd be crazy to see a Virtual Fighter. I think that would be pretty dope. I would like to see that.
Why is Virtual Fighter dead? OJ, what happened?
Virtual Fighter is dead because of the market. That's the reason why Virtual Fighter dried up, because the game is hard as hell to play and be good. It was one of the most difficult, in my opinion, in terms of the combos. I mean, when everything, it was a bit harder than some of the other games out there at the time. And that's what I heard from the FGC, from the fighting community, of why the game just kind of dried up, just because of like how difficult it was to play and be good to play at a high level. And people just started playing other things instead. I mean, people just kind of took off more with Tekken. That obviously continued going. You started seeing other games kind of come in. You started seeing stuff like the anime fighters kind of coming, like Blaze Blue, coming back in 2008, and other games. So Virtual Fighter just kind of disappeared, just disappeared into thin air.
Did they make it up to 5? Was it Virtual Fighter 5?
It was 5, yeah.
I think that was one where they introduced the AI, right? Where you had like a fighter that you could start sending into online fights, and you didn't actually have to do anything.
Yeah, you're right. They actually put that as a Game Pass or Games with Gold semi-recently as well. I remember that.
Yeah, last month, I think.
Yeah. Chad Saran says, what about like a Streets of Rage game if they brought it up to like 2018 standards? That's kind of the way I picture this, by the way. Any of the older games talk about, they'd bring it up mechanically and visually and stuff, kind of the 20.
I just dropped a link of like all the games. I'd like to see a Comic Zone. Come on, let's go back to that.
That'd be cool.
There's a hardcore fan base.
Talk about hard games.
Oh, there you go, Sean. Sega will return. This is from Wishbone. Sega will return to true form with the Spartan console in 2020.
Guys, honestly, like Dreamcast dude said, we need Skies of Arcadia. That to me, that's my favorite Sega game.
Dude,
Shining Force. Got to get that freaking counter.
Yes, Shining Force, not all these side games. Traditional Shining Force. I want Panzer Dragoon. I want
I wouldn't mind like a Crazy Taxi as a little indie or like a budget game.
Yes, Crazy Taxi. Cool. There's so many. Virtual Fighter.
How is Phantasy Star Online not in the West yet?
How is there not been a traditional Phantasy Star since freaking Phantasy Star 4? That's the better question.
Well, technically they did one other, and it was a prequel. Phantasy Star Zero came out in 2003, and that was actually good.
That was the DS game, right?
Yeah, and
I love that game.
Western.
Could y'all imagine Super Monkey Ball on the Switch? That would work pretty good.
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't get
that would work, right? With the gyro, right? It would have worked pretty good.
And at this point, since it's technically almost 8 years since it's been out, would you consider Vanquish one of their dead IPs they should revive?
Vanquish 2, 100%. I'm a big fan of Vanquish.
They just did the PC with screw that game's challenge mode. Did Did you beat that game's challenge mode, Kofi?
No, I beat it on hard, but I know after you beat it on hard, you unlock like another difficulty. But I only played it through on hard.
Yeah, the god mode. But dude, the challenge mode in that game is
crazy, huh?
Ridiculous. I've got a video that I did a long time. You guys want to see old OJ back in the day? I did a video way back with the crap of me beating that game with the challenge mode. It's like a compilation. That game is crazy difficult, man. I almost died playing. By the way, I almost died beating that challenge mode back in 2010. So yeah, literally almost died. I dehydrated myself. I was malnourished, and I played the game 15 hours a day for 3 days straight till I beat it. It was just
not worth it.
Beat it now.
That game is so unique, and if you guys got like anyone watching got like a PC or anything, definitely check out Vanquish.
Definitely
Good shooter.
That game is really good.
I would love it if Golden Axe came back. That's a series I've been waiting for a long time.
I had that with the 360. I remember that, and it wasn't very good.
Wasn't that like a remaster?
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird one.
The last Golden Axe was bad, and the last people were asking about Streets of Rage in chat. The last Streets of Rage was really bad. I actually rebought it recently. At the end, you're punching zombies that are on cocaine. It's awful.
The worst kind of zombies.
Yeah, they are. They're like, bro, let's party.
Yeah, Sega has so many IPs they could go back if they wanted and just grab and bring up to now, and people would recognize it instantly.
Yeah,
Billy Hatcher. Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, my thinking is the first one they're probably going to bring out is Jet Set Radio, and that's even that I'm really excited for because I like Jet Set Radio Future on Xbox was crazy. Like obviously at the end it was even a pack-in. So I think that's the one that has the biggest brand recognition. So I think if Shenmue sells, they're going to try Jet Set and then hopefully Skies.
Yeah. Like Sega and Capcom, like I could never understand why those companies struggle because they're like sitting on a gold mine of like just classic IPs. Like I was like just bad management, I guess that's why.
Yeah, it was a rocky road for Sega back in the late 90s. So. All right, well, we're gonna finish up with the Nintendo Direct rumor. There's a Nindies that's apparently one of their indie ones that's actually rumored to be announced this week coming up, and I think it makes sense because there's a lot of indie stuff that is kind of just out there right now, like Morphe's Law. That's one that people keep asking me about. I have no idea what's going on with that. We just talked about Undertale that needs a release date, and then there's a couple others as well. What do we think? Is it? I think a Direct is coming first as a smaller one, like an Indies, and I think the big Direct is actually like first week of September or last week of August. What's everyone think about an Indies Direct? Like we did the Nindies at night stuff and things like that. Do you think it makes sense to also be before Gamescom? Because Gamescom might be where some Indies developers show up anyway.
Yes.
I think it's going to be like Nindies at night and just be a barrage of stuff we've never seen or heard of. And,
what about because that could be like you're saying that could be a spot that's good for Travis
Strikes Back.
Yeah. Travis Strikes Back, The Messenger, like Morphe's Law. There's a lot of games that need release dates, so it makes sense to do that.
What were you saying, Max?
Just that of like give us release dates and then tease us about small stuff that we didn't know about because I like indies are selling well, but people just got to know about them coming. And then at Gamescom, they can bust out the real big guns like Dark Souls theoretically coming out someday, maybe.
Someday.
2019, baby.
Someday. Yeah. Oh God.
Okay, so you guys think the Nindies, and do you think the big one is coming, I guess, at the end of the month, beginning of September? And do you think they'll talk about the online? Because we did have a super chat that I held off for a little bit from Xeon that asked about Nintendo Online next month and a Direct before launch.
It needs to happen not between September 5th and September 10th.
You're not going to be around for that. Oh man, yeah, and then Crazy Justice. See, people are just naming a bunch of indies in the chat now.
The one that I'm waiting for is No More Heroes, man, which counts as an indie, I think, because it was even revealed as like the Nindies Direct or whatever last year. So that's the big one I'm still waiting on, and that could be a huge 2018 Switch game if it's still made.
Which one was that?
No More Heroes. Travis.
Yeah, that's supposed to come out this year, right? That's supposed to be like a fall title.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
They said fall. I think even on did they have it on their financial report? I think they said fall.
Yeah, they said fall. Yeah, so that's just gonna. I feel like Gamescom they could probably announce it, or obviously at an Indies Direct that is in the next week or so. Wargroove looks awesome. I have no idea when it's coming out. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't know if they put Shin Megami in there, would they? I don't know if they do that.
Shin Megami Tensei 5?
Would they put that in an Indies one, or would they?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
yeah.
Sega. Yeah. There's also Dragon Mark for Death. That game still waiting on that game. That's my most anticipated independent title. So. Yeah.
Also, what's that one? And it might even be this one, OJ. But what's the one where it's like an 8-bit game, but then you can switch it to 16-bit?
That's the Messenger.
The
That game looks
Messenger.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I need that in my life, dude. That looks so good.
It looks great. It looks great.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a summer release as well.
I think so. Yeah.
I follow the dev team on Twitter, and they're real quiet. I think they're having trouble with the final polish.
Well, I think they're like they seem to be putting it like front and center on the Switch. I did see Devolver Digital or whoever talk about it on Twitter again. I think they want to talk about the release date in an indie or direct.
Yeah.
I think is what they want to do because that's going to get a lot of people. Like that's where I really saw it at first. I remember
I was watching it at E3 and they were playing a ton of they were just going through, and it looked great. I mean, it didn't seem. I mean, then again, Dark Souls, same thing, but it seems like they were just playing the game a lot. So I mean, it looks done-ish. I mean, from what they
at least an hour of it works.
Yeah.
I think that game is coming out at the perfect time, man, to do 8 and 16-bit in the same game with like this retro craze that we're going through. I think it's gonna be huge, unless it sucks. If it sucks, then it won't be. But if it's even half,
I mean, that's a good way to
Good point.
Unless it sucks, then
It'll do good. Unless it does
hopefully a
bad, then
second
it'll
game
do
doesn't
bad.
sell well.
Yes, but no. But yes, it'll be
But a
selling
little bit,
unless it
but
doesn't.
maybe. We no.
There's also the Dust and Elysian Tale. I forgot about that one too. That one actually got announced by Limited Run, right? That's actually a good game. I actually have that on Steam and play it. It's actually a pretty good game.
That's good.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess that's everything tonight. Then we're done with questions in the Discord, right, Evan?
Yeah, everything's up.
All right. Oh, my last question for you guys. Check this out. What do you guys? We know about 10 games, right, for the Nintendo Online. Do you think the last 10 games that they're going to tell us about, apparently 20, do you think they're NES games or do you think they're for another system?
Game
No.
No Nintendo's is all going to be NES.
I think some are going to be SNES. I do think some, but I think
they said that.
I think they're going to
they-
be Game Boy games.
They did say that?
Yeah. Game
Back- originally, RGT's right. When they were first talking about it, they said some were going to be online SNES games. I think they're going to be small things. I think it's going to be something like Super Mario World that has like co-op functionality and like Super Bomberman. I think it'll probably be like 2 SNES.
And you guys think of the launch 20 games that they've been talking about, the first 20? You think they'll make
We've
SNES?
heard of 10. We've heard of 10,
Because we've
and
heard
then
of 10.
they're saying the other 10 might be Super Nintendo or maybe a mixture. I think Game Boy
think a
can get thrown
mixture.
in there.
I thought that they confirmed they were all NES games, but maybe I missed that wrong. I thought they confirmed 20 NES exact games.
If it's
I
Game
could be
Boy,
wrong.
if it's Game Boy, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm obsessed with the Game Boy. I have my wallet is literally a giant Game Boy. Like, man, if it's anything Game Boy, especially if it's something like Link's Awakening DX, like,
I mean,
I'm literally going to make a special review just dedicated to that.
Well, would they even pull in from the NES if it was just another 10 NES? I mean, they kind of already told us about
the best games. Like, I don't know. Excite is that on that first list? That'd be a good one online.
Final Fantasy.
I just don't get excited for that. Like to launch your online service, I feel like they should have went with GameCube, N64, or something different. It seems like Nintendo's always giving us NES. Like how many times are they gonna give us NES games?
Yeah,
I would have liked
Honestly,
GameCube. Would have been awesome.
Like switch it up. Like they should have launched it with N64.
So I agree with you. Like I don't think anyone's super excited about NES games, but my theory is that these are the ones that are like free alongside of your paid subscription service, whatever 20 games they are. And my theory is the games that a lot of us want, like 64 and GameCube games, and I want like Genesis games and stuff. I think that if they're going to do that, that's the stuff that you're going to actually buy as separate purchases down the road. That's my theory. So like, the NES stuff is cheap.
So
Yes.
you think Nintendo is gonna introduce like virtual consoles? Still, I don't think so. I think that's the whole thing with their online thing. This is their way to introduce like their older titles, because I feel like if you really think about it, if all these classic games are available on the eShop, do you think indies will be doing as well as they are right now on the Nintendo Switch? Probably not. So they probably know indies are doing really, really good, and they want to keep the spotlight on indies like that. That's why they're probably kind of reworking. Okay, you have the subscription, and we're gonna give you guys, monthly, retro classic games. So I don't know. My question for y'all: do you guys think that Nintendo's actually gonna like sell like retro games on the eShop like that.
I would like to see them remaster a GameCube game here and there, like remaster it for the
Like a
Switch in
remaster?
particular. Yeah, not necessarily like a straight up. Like I would like to see them bring it into like HD and everything, and just set it up for the Switch's digital triggers and everything.
Yeah,
I think Kofi's got a point. He's got a really good point. I don't think Nintendo wants a bunch, because like even that Arcade Archives game was like top, like like in the top like every week. You know, even that game wasn't.
It'll definitely kill all. Well, not all, but like indie sales probably wouldn't be as good if we had all these classic.
Oh yeah, no,
Nintendo
you're
games,
absolutely right.
Because
Yeah.
we have Pokemon Gold, Silver. Everyone's running to buy those, so I don't know. It's a weird.
I know on the Wii U I know it's the Wii U, but like indie games didn't even do well on the. I mean, they did okay, but like the classic games from the Virtual Console did way better. Like Mario 64 was like, and all the if you look at the Wii U eShop every single week, it was just a bunch of Virtual Console games.
Well, that's
Link to the Past every week.
I don't like not agree with you guys, but if you think about it, that's kind of why I think Nintendo still might do that, because if their games are going to sell, I mean, sure, they want to make sure relationships are good with indies, but aren't they going to be like, yeah, but if we put Super Mario World out, we're going to make so much money off of that.
What if they put them up at mind-blowingly low prices? Like
the thing, why I feel like that, that's why they have the subscription thing, that their little Netflix style thing. So if you want to support these games, you buy into that online service. So I think that's the game that they're trying to play. So we're gonna only time will tell. See how they.
My question for that is how much can they actually put in there and still only take $20 a year from you?
Yeah.
My thing
if you're getting 20 GameCube games, like that's
a
lot.
So what we know is it's a vault. I remember like when they first introduced it, like it was a rotation of games, right? But now I think they confirmed the games are gonna stay.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really interesting. If you pay $20 a year and you get to have all these retro consoles, then retro games, and I think that's gonna be.
They should have introduced it like a Game Pass and came to the table with like 100 games.
Yeah,
that'd be really dope, and I would it would make the online service like more bearable, because we all know how Nintendo Switch's voice chat, the situation is looking. It looks terrible with the wires, and it just really looks bad. So if they really kind of turned their online into like a Game Pass / it, then I think it will give people more incentive to actually sign up for it.
Well, I would say that as an extra thing. They could name it something, and you pay for your online, but then you can also get this if you want the whatever Game Pass thing. Yeah, something like that.
Nintendo Plus. I totally. Well, so my thing is. Kofi is definitely dead right, and I wish he wasn't. Like, I wish that we had Virtual Console, but it's never going to come. And the main evidence, the main reason I think that is because of the new Sega Ages, where Sega has now confirmed that they're just going to be releasing like Sonic and Phantasy Star 1 again. Like, they're just going to sell them themselves. And clearly they're doing that because I'm sure Nintendo already whispered in their ear and said, look, man, we're just not doing Virtual Console on this console. Like, but you can still sell it. We're allowing you to put it in the eShop. It's just not going to go in a different.
I mean, look at all the Neo Geo games that are on the system.
So that's John. That's even kind of my point. Like, my big theory for a long time, which is only a theory, is actually not a virtual console. It's just individual Nintendo games. Maybe once a month we get Mario 64, or we get Eternal Darkness if we get GameCube, or we get A Link to the Past. Something where, just like with the Neo Geo games, they just kind of drop one every once in a while, just as individual purchases. I feel like if they're going to do something that isn't like the Netflix kind of Game Pass thing, I struggle to think that by the time the Switch's time is finally done, that we haven't seen a couple, if not more, N64 or SNES games show up for $7 or $8 a piece. Like, even if they only release a handful, I think something will eventually make it there, because it's money on the table. And Nintendo likes their money on the table. So,
man, I would just love to see them remaster a
GameCube
GameCube game, release it physically and everything. I don't know, like
Eternal Darkness.
Trust me, I was so upset when Luigi's Mansion wasn't.
that hurt me.
And it still might happen. It might still happen.
That just hurt my soul right there. I'm like,
I would really like a Melee.
I know. I knew you were gonna say that.
I would really want Melee. Like, if they did an individual Melee on the Switch, and they also did it
on a cartridge physically and everything.
I think the whole Melee community would explode.
Yeah, dude.
You see what's going on right now? They would explode.
You think they get $40 for that? You think they get $40 for that?
They can get $60 for it.
Wow. Okay.
I was at a. I was at a Melee tournament just a couple days ago. There was a huge one here at Let's Play Gaming Expo here in Dallas, and I showed up just for fun. And there were just like hundreds of people standing around, hundreds of TVs playing Melee, like giant CRTs. If they just said like $60 and it's Melee on the Switch in HD, people are going to be lining up to fork it
I
out.
think especially for editing, I think
They'll probably
Melee
kill
had the biggest
Smash
viewership.
Ultimate, to be honest. So they're not going to.
No, absolutely, Kofi, absolutely not. Let me fill you in on this.
so?
No, because there is two. It's like a split timeline. Think of it as like Zelda. You know what I'm saying? It's a split timeline.
Multiverses.
Which one's the hero dies?
Two big different communities. Huh?
Oh yeah, and Brawl is the thing that killed it. Brawl is the splitting game that split the
That's
community.
Link dies in
forever.
there.
Yeah. The Link dies ending is Brawl. The Link dies ending is Brawl, and then there's the other, timeline. There is two distinct, huge communities. There's a Smash 4 community that's going to play Ultimate, and then there is a dedicated Melee community. No matter what, I mean, it's getting a little bit closer. I mean, Ultimate has brought some guys. I've heard some of the Melee pros are like, okay, well, yeah, I'll play Ultimate on stream and all that, but there's two distinct communities that will be just fine. If they did Melee, people will play Melee. People will play Ultimate. It trust me, it'd be good. But they're not. I don't think they're going to do
sense.
it. But I would love it.
Think how great it would be. Like it's almost easy to forget that when we think about these games on the Switch, they also are then portable. Like we should be able to play some of these games on our Switch portably, like Super Metroid on that Switch screen. Like I need it. I just
wait.
Whatever.
What did you say? You said Super Metroid or Metroid Prime?
Well, both. I mean, why would you?
Both. Would you want a Metroid Prime HD?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Would you want that?
Are you hinting at something, John? Are you hinting at something, John?
No, of course not.
Singing that tune forever.
I think John's been hinting at something.
And it makes sense since Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. A lot of people might have missed on.
I mean, that might help with some, that fiscal year in the holiday season.
Yep.
Some would say that it's like the Shenmue HD collection of Metroid.
Oh man!
I'm just gonna say I've made like 7 videos on that. If it happens, I'm gonna feel so good about myself, man.
Would you have to make another video? So you maybe pre-record it.
I can't believe they just announced it, guys. Who?
John is like looking at scrolls of the future, being like, "Bro,
it's happening."
Pre-recorded.
Yeah. So, Sean, I told you it was in the chat. With the people were putting 500 like goals on that. I told you it wouldn't happen. I was like, it's not.
Oh yeah, I mean, 430. There's only like.
I forgot to add
432.
Fluff the numbers.
Come on. There's not enough people here to get the 500 anyway, so it's not a big deal. Let's go through the outros here. Let me start with the guests, as we have KOFI. KOFI, thanks for joining us tonight. Where can they find you?
Thanks for having me. It was a great time talking with you guys. I definitely want to, link up with some of you guys, Rob, RGT, and I forget, Evan. Yeah, it would be dope if you guys, stop by, press that podcast.
If you ever need someone to eat on your podcast for you, Sean will take care of it.
I didn't even eat tonight. I didn't eat tonight. I am looking at that clock now. I need
it would definitely be nice for you guys to stop by, press that podcast too. But yeah, you guys can find me at, if you just search KOFI, my channel is probably in the description as well. Yep. Press Our Podcast is a podcast every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So thanks for having me.
Check them out. They have some fun over there, guys. I'll usually lurk and stuff at everyone's different podcasts and stuff. So go check it out. They have a lot of fun over there. It's a good time. And let's go over to Rob. Thanks for joining us tonight, Rob.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome, man. It was so good being back. It felt like it's been like 100 years, but this is a blast. My channel is Ruleof2Review for anyone who doesn't know. Same on Twitter, and I'm super active on both places. And so that's it. It was good being back on with you guys. So.
You're coming up on 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, man,
right? You're getting
slowly
there,
climbing there, man. I'm going to be like the Titanic lady. It's been 84 years by the time I finally get it. So.
That's when you get into like the secret club that YouTube doesn't tell you about.
I'll teach you.
I need that.
Can't wait. Literally 5 years before I finally make it, but it'll feel good. So yeah.
Yeah. There's an interesting video that this was from a little while Casey Neistat made where he said it's the hardest thing ever is to get to 1,000 subs, and apparently it's easier to get to 10,000. It's easier to keep going up, and I don't know about that.
That's the opposite.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
that's not at all how my thing's going. So.
So make sure you check out Rob. Make sure you check out KOFI. I also need to figure out someone we can raid also, guys, while we're going through the outros. You guys don't have anyone in mind. Let me go over to OJ, new regular now on the podcast. Where can they find you, man?
Yeah, just right here on YouTube. Just PlayerEssence. You'll see me there. Cover a lot of Japanese gaming news, Nintendo news, RPGs, a lot of that stuff, anime, fighters, stuff like My Hero. So if you're into all that, plus I got an Octopath Traveler giveaway. We don't have that many people that have entered it. There's like less than 3,000 people. So I'll link that in the chat for you guys if you guys want to enter in on that digital copy of Octopath Traveler.
Nice.
So yeah, check out my channel. And I got some. What do I got this week? I've got some more My Hero stuff coming up. So if you're going to be into that, because it's coming out this month in Japan. So I got.
Oh, cool. Is that going to have an English option on it? Do you know?
I'm hoping. I don't think it is, but I'm hoping it will. But I'm going to get an Xbox One X copy, and I'm going to get a Switch copy. So look forward to that. Look forward to some My Hero stuff this month.
About to go get some yen from the Amazon and What about Sean? Sean, where can they find you, man?
Find me on the interwebs as RGT85. I'm about to film something tonight after this for tomorrow because I usually just sleep during the day and work all night till like 5 in the morning. Next weekend we will be at Long Island Retro GameCon at Cradle Aviation in, I don't remember the fucking city name, but if you look up Long Island Retro GameCon, you could come see myself and Spawn. We're going to be there Saturday and Sunday. We have a panel at 12:30 on Sunday. I will throw video games at you. I will have some shit for sale, some stuff from the few things from the collection, shirts for sale as well. I'm looking forward the most to, of course, is swimming at the hotel pool. We are staying in a Marriott, and I love to swim during my conventions.
Yeah, apparently we're going swimming. So there you go. We're
going swimming.
Island.
Apparently, I'm driving to Long Island to go swimming.
How far is that drive for you guys?
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2.5
couple
hours.
Yeah, it's not bad. Nah, we can get from where we are. We can get to Philadelphia in less than an hour. We can get to Baltimore in about an hour, and we can get to New York in like 2.5 hours.
Washington, I think, in about
Washington in about an hour and 40.
Yeah, hour 40.
So we're in a good spot.
Come to Texas, you can drive like 4 hours in any direction and not yet
Go
Texas.
nowhere.
Yeah.
And then Max, where can we find you, man?
YouTube.com/Dreamcastguy. I got a bunch of big content coming up, a lot of big reviews. Some I can't talk about, some I can, but I do want to hint at something, which is that I'm going to be at QuakeCon this Friday for the big reveal of Doom Eternal, and I'm going to be in the audience and maybe playing it. They're actually very secretive as to what I get to do, so I'm definitely going to be making a video about that, depending on what I get to see or play. And I'm going to be at the Fallout 76 panel, so if they end up showing me something there or letting me play something about that, expect videos Friday of maybe about both or one or whatever. Bethesda said that I have an all-access pass and I can just walk up and play stuff, so who knows what I'll get to play. So check that out.
Very good. And then Evan, you just got Twitter, right?
Yeah, Twitter. I'll
Check
tell
out
you
Twitter.
when I'm on Twitch through it. I'll tell you if I post a video up on Spawnwave through it.
There you
Stuff
go.
that's going on, t-shirts for the Spawnwave media channel, things like that. We're
We're working on the beginner's guide for Warframe, and then you got the
probably
the
gonna
We Happy
do
Few
yeah,
on
we're probably
PC.
gonna do the We Happy Few first because I have to record all that Warframe stuff.
That's fine. Warframe. I was looking to have that more so out whenever the Switch version comes out around there. So yeah, Evan's doing We Happy Few. So you'll be looking at that as well. Should be good. Do we have anyone to raid? I saw Kazoo was talking about James Clark. I was actually on a podcast with them recently. Is there anyone else, OJ, that you have in your list or Sean?
Yeah, Avidin is on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We'll have Avidin. We'll have James Clark. Kazoo, if you want to post James Clark link in the chat, go for it. And then OJ, if you have Avidin, yeah, we'll raid Avidin as well, man. Definitely. And that'll be we'll get those links in the chat here in a second. Go say hi, hit their like button, everything. And that's gonna do it for episode. Yep, we got both of them there. Cool. That's gonna do it for episode 70. Nice. We're getting there. Of the Spawncast. Thanks everyone for joining us. Had a lot of fun. Thanks to the guests. KOFI at his channel. Check out the podcast. Press Start Podcast. And then of course Rob Ruleof2Review. He's on his way to 10K, so help him out there too. And guys, that's gonna do it here for us tonight. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys next time.